Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games.
Bob, our new intro has ray tracing.
Ooh, cool. KZ Excellent.
I'm optimistic about things.
And Mr. Feel.
I could hit you, but I won't, so you better be grateful.
Here on GigaBoots.
I should not look at this news. One, there is a lot. Two, some of it's hilarious.
Yeah, Feel always being at the top of our document really leads to it being super funny.
I was like, at least I have some normal, sane stories that don't have it. Nope, this is insane as well. Well then, looking forward to news. Hey Bob, I'm gonna let you lead on what we've been playing.
Oh yeah, sure. I played a lot more of the Guilty Gear Strive beta.
Same. I did a 4-hour session without stopping on the last day.
I didn't play that much, but I played some.
I even played with KZ. So we have to experience the
lobby.
joys of the park system.
The lack of a call communication there when I have a clip up that's me and Bob walking to the left, jumping up, and then he accepts someone else's match from halfway across the screen by accident.
Yes, because clearly KZ just walked right up to me. It's got to be KZ.
Yeah, the other person is halfway across the screen, but that was the one that did it. And then when it accepts, it teleports them on top of me.
So it's got some problems with the lobby, but I'm still amazed at how good the netcode feels.
Yeah, it feels really, really good.
Just so good. I didn't have a single match that I would say is even a 8 out of 10 quality. They all just felt like I was playing versus mode with a computer. That computer wouldn't stop picking Potemkin or Yuki. Mostly Potemkin, so that I could become that meme where they just grab the rat and squeeze it.
Just jump, bro.
I did that, and they didn't know what to do. So it turns out that absolutely is what I was supposed to do. They're like, "Oh no, stop it!"
Yeah, I had a few that weren't great, but they were still more a good round in Street Fighter V than a bad round of Street Fighter V.
I think it's ridiculous to compare any level of Street Fighter V to this game online.
Yeah, I see so many people go, "Yeah, I had a match that was a little rough." Where was it? Australia.
I had one really bad match. You saw some of that, Bob?
Yes.
And then the guy fully disconnected in round 2.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this guy's...
dial-up time.
Yeah, it had to have been. I hadn't seen it in the middle of a match go assessing your opponent's connection.
Right. That's not something that's supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Otherwise, it felt really, really sharp. I got up to floor 8. And they said, welcome to floor 8. And then I spent a while there. And they said, maybe you're not suited for floor 8. And I'm like, oh.
Eventually, I just sat down and was like, okay, I'm just going to play as May. And I made it up to floor 7. I was like, okay, this feels good.
I went back down to floor 7 and had a fun time, but I couldn't get over how I used to be on floor 8. And then that's when someone goes, well, Dan, you can still go up in the floors. You could go back to floor 8. And I'm like, it's not the same.
I didn't earn it.
Now I instead of being a member of the country club, I'm some person who wandered onto the premises.
You know, I do like the idea of going up those floors when I saw streamers get to heaven and then a developer is in there in the beta and just keeps kicking them back down by beating their asses.
That's really great. Yeah, I'm definitely picking up this game when it comes out. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's really nice how quick it gets in and out of matches. Rematching is instant. Locally, online, they don't even have a rematch function yet, but hopefully that's what that third button does that's locked away in the beta.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the match ends, you have 3 different buttons, and they lock away the function of 1 to 2 of them at all times.
Yeah, it's they're like, just keep playing, people. We need to test our rollback. It's our first time. We need to test multiple different connections to lots of different players. So every time you guys finish a match, we toss you to the opposite ends of the earth like the Dragon Balls.
And then you just find each other again immediately because you're the only other ones who are available to fight after you are done fighting because this lobby system is garbage.
Because everyone else is still fighting.
Yeah.
I I really wish they did a version of Dragon Ball FighterZ that had this online next.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'd buy it.
I'm
Day
hoping.
one.
I'm hoping for they'll make Super Dragon Ball Fighters and it'll have this. I hope.
They
Yeah,
make-
just do that in the new Strive visual engine where everything looks like the greatest thing I've seen in my life.
yes.
They have to realize that there's a market for, like, they can sell more.
Yeah.
Even if it's the exact same game but with rollback.
Yes, they have to realize they can sell quite a few copies.
They would just need to add one character for everyone to be like, I need it.
Yeah,
They were like, Pan.
finally, rollback and Zarbon.
Oh,
See, I was gonna say Moro. They would add Moro the Goat Man.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, they'll add the new character Granola, who,
Don't
as
talk
far
about
as
granola.
no, I'm gonna talk about Granola because I think he might be baby.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Get out.
Yeah, no, that's too much.
So, we talked about this on KZ's State of Play stream.
Yeah.
But it definitely belongs in Big Think. You finished the beta and then you got that survey, Bob, and one of the questions it asks is, hey, would you like, what characters would you like? Characters from other games?
Yeah, there was
And then you and
returning characters, new characters, characters from other games.
And you and I were talking about, I was like, who have they even crossed over with before? And you're like, well, they're doing King of Fighters right now, aren't they?
They're doing Samurai
They're
Showdown, so
Sam
SNK.
Sam Show, so that's SNK, and I'm like, I really don't need to see a King of Fighters character in Strive quality and then go back to King of Fighters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be rough.
It's like they've improved. They've improved from the original reveal of 14 to the stuff in 15. But God,
Yeah.
even Street Fighter characters.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
seeing like a Ryu in this style would be insane.
Yeah, it would just be unreasonable to go back to eating anything else ever again.
Yes, at least with the 3D stuff, like when they crossed over SNK with Tekken and with Soul Calibur,
Yeah.
like that's a totally different style.
Yes.
Whereas this is just, this is what the ideal looks like.
Yeah, they would be like, we got Ryu, and I'm like, haha, wow, that looks incredible. And they're like, Ryu from Third Strike, and I'm like, oh, come on. It's already hard enough to move on from that game.
I was thinking of, Skullgirls gets Ryu's Third Strike.
It's true. We got that season pass, and I ordered an umbrella poster to show my support.
Yeah, as it turns out, Ryu Third Strike kicked out Umbrella.
Oh my god,
These are the only terms on which I'm okay. He has to still have parrying, just so we're clear.
Of course.
This is important. But yeah, no, Strive, really, really great. I'm glad I spent a chunk of time playing that.
Yeah, I'm starting to get used to what they've done to Chip. I might be able to play him. I'm not sure. Definitely started going better after doing a lot and understanding his weird up or like diagonal teleport.
Yeah, whenever I play someone who knows how to play that, I get really scared because he's everywhere.
A lot of times they seem to spam a lot, so I'm just like, oh, I'm May. I hit you like 3 times and you die.
Sometimes I get the people that are like, I know the combo. I fought a good melee and I shit my pants.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
They took me across the screen in the air.
Yeah, no, it's scary
I'm
when
like-
you find someone who knows what they're doing.
I'm like, dude, this is a 23 hit combo, which means at the end it covers 80% of the screen real estate.
Yeah, I'm still not used to dealing with some of the new characters. So, you know, you fight a character, even just the way they redid Ramlethal.
Uh-huh.
And also, what's her name?
Giovanna,
Giovanna, thank you.
the other JoJo's character.
The other JoJo's character in this. Dealing with it as someone who's efficient as those characters, I'm like, yeah, I have no prayer of staying in level 8 like this.
Yeah,
I have no idea what these movesets are. This is insane. So I'm really looking forward to that game coming out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the trial mode and stuff so I can learn those combos, understand what's going on.
Yeah, I'm an idiot, and I've decided, man, I really like the Zato guy, who, according to the game, is the hardest character to learn in the game.
I was going to talk about Zato and how having a knowledge of Guilty Gear or having a knowledge of JoJo's had completely changed him in my mind.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
It's just like, this is direct.
Yeah.
Absolutely in every way. Good lord.
Let me tell you about Waku Waku 7.
His back walk is just pointing at you with a pose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. The amount of not giving a shit there. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's hilarious to know now, though.
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to talk about with Strive?
No, that's it for me.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Nah.
I'm excited to learn how to play it. I did 30 matches, and I'm like, I can't figure out how combos work in this game.
Yeah.
At least it's Kaikisuke, because I'm like, I guess I'll just keep them sealed into the you're all the way across the screen while I throw electricity at you dimension.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually trying to learn this one more than the average one.
I will interject with a game I played that no one else did. I played 30XX.
With your mouse?
No, I disconnected my mouse so I could play 30XX. So for people who don't know, well, I guess first off, so they sent us a review code. So there's your heads up on that. We'll be doing some actual video coverage of this at some point, sometime soon, whether that's a live stream or a video on YouTube initially. Not undecided yet. But anyways, 30XX is the sequel to 20XX, which are both Mega Man fan games. The idea is making it procedurally generated, so you go and start a run. You will have different Mavericks you fight along the way. The order in which you fight them is set, but it changes every time. So you don't get to choose from a set of levels. You just go to a different level. This game is in early access right now. It just came out of the alpha. It's got a couple rough bits, but I actually found it really enjoyable and enjoyed it even more than 20XX, which if you're curious about our opinion on that, though it's a dated video now, the second episode of the Giving Games a Chance series is on 20XX, so feel free to go watch that video. 30XX is a relatively similar game, but man, it feels a lot better to play. I am playing on an overclocked DualSense controller with 8 kilohertz readout speed, running the game on a 144 hertz G-Sync monitor, and running the game itself at hundreds of frames a second. It feels sharp as fucking shit. Like, feels really responsive, which is great, because one of the number one problems with a fan game is when it just doesn't feel as good as the game it's a spiritual, successor to. Like, you get your Sonic fan game and it just feels like a dump truck or something like that, something to that effect. So it's really great that 30XX, it's made in Unity, but it's made well enough, it's made lean enough to run really well. And I really appreciate that, because they could have put a frame cap on it. They could have screwed it up any number of ways. It could have just been bad, but it feels really responsive. Since it's a roguelike, you get augments, which are things that are going to permanently upgrade your abilities, and then like equipment type items where you have a set number of points you can allot. Some equipment will take more points, others will take less, and as you go through each run, you will get random stuff. Some of the stuff is reasonable. Others are just absolutely unhinged. So it'll be something like, hey, your charged up shot does a little bit more damage. And it's like, okay, that's neat. Your charged up shot has a second level of charging. It does a lot more damage. And I'm like, okay, that's neat. When you charge a shot, you get 2. So there's 1 extra in the chamber. And when you hit shoot button again, you get another fully charged shot. And I'm like, okay, that's unhinged. So I'm just pissing bullets everywhere that do a crap load of damage. Every time I dash, he's shooting a Mega Buster shot out of the front of him. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, there's abilities you get that are just ridiculous, but it's funny because they try to also balance these out with, well, here are some mobility options. You can hover. I'm like, hovering doesn't sound like shooting 3 piercing bullets, fully charged shots for nothing all the time. But yeah, it's got if you beat it, which I beat it on my first playthrough, actually. My first run, I did a successful run, which was kind of funny. You can stack modifiers to make the game more difficult and get you better rewards, because there are two types of currency you can get from doing runs, and those will unlock extra powers for you, extra stat buffs and other things in the main HUD, like the main hub area. You can spend these two currencies on, like, I want to start with more health, I want to start with more equipment points, I want to start with a sub-tank that'll automatically deploy to keep me from dying, things like that. So, it's pretty cool. These difficulty modifiers are things as simple as literally raise the difficulty, where in the game's code, the default difficulty, the normal difficulty when you do a run is called easy, and you can raise that multiple stages and make it hard. You can make it so in 30XX by default, when you land on spikes, it only does 1 damage to you. You can raise that to 3 damage or 6 damage or 9,999 damage. I believe what is the phrasing? There was a phrasing on that modifier was like, play it like your elders or some shit like that, where landing on spikes kills you in 1 hit every time.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, basically at some point I was like, this is procedurally done. I don't know that I want to have the world's greatest run, and then because I didn't have double jump at this point, that this one room is a total pain in the ass.
I'm here for a good time.
Not a long time, and then Casey did drugs. Oh no, the hardcorest drug ever, gamer fuel.
Yes.
But yeah, the soundtrack actually has some pretty good hits on it. There are a few different songs that really stick with me, and I really enjoyed it. There's obviously areas where it needs to build out more. Being early access, it only has 6 levels, but when you turn the difficulty up, some of this stuff gets so hard that I still haven't finished a highest level difficulty run. I think the weirdest thing I've run into in the early access for this game is that they have a level creator, which is made by the guy who made Mega Man Maker. It's made by Wrecking Programs. The weirdest part is it's a separate executable that runs at the same time as the main game. And like this took me back. I finally realized what it made me think of, Bob.
Yeah.
It made me think of using MSN Game Zones or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Those are awesome.
On Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
To be like, I need to click this server to join this server. It's funny that I go that far back, because technically Battlefield 3 also did that. And a browser running where anyway. So the way it'll work is the separate executable will be your browser, your server browser, and you just go to try to find levels to play. And the moment you click play, your instance of 30XX in the other window just boots that chunk. No intro, no outro, no nothing. You beat the level, and then it's just like, okay, you're at the hub again. You're just standing in the normal mode of this game. Click to the other executable to rate the level. And I'm like, what? So it would be nice if they could integrate that a little bit more smoothly. I would call it functional, yet almost psychotically Spartan at this point. But that functionality's in, which is kind of neat. If there was one thing I didn't think was going to make it in time for launch, it was the level creator.
I'm surprised it did went in that state. I figured they just wouldn't even put it in.
Who knows? Maybe integrating it down the road. Maybe they don't even intend to integrate it.
Oh.
I don't know. But it works well enough. It would be a total pain for a series like, we do with the We Play Your Mega Man Maker levels.
Yeah.
Like, it would just be too much to manage like 2 windows simultaneously at all times, I guess. Maybe not. But yeah, 30XX, it's really fun. They have a 0 type character. They have an X type character. Some of the boss designs have a bit of a If Freedom Planet designed a Maverick energy to them. Let me see if I can find a reference image of the exact one I'm thinking of when I say that.
Chill out.
Well, if you saw the level that they're in too, you would also see how that comes off as a very Freedom Planet stylized level.
From the ones in the demo that I played a bunch, my always take was, okay, Inti creates, make a Maverick.
Okay, so I'm gonna post the image of the level, because I found the level before I found the boss of the level. So here's the level that I thought looked a little Freedom Planet. Just something about the color palette they chose.
Yes, I get it.
I see it immediately. Yeah.
Okay. So imagine the boss also feels like they could be in Freedom Planet, and they'd probably have a voice that sounds like this.
It's a gorilla,
is
right?
4 minutes long.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. Yeah, and then you'd be trapped in a 7-minute cutscene where he talks about the food in their kingdom, and then someone likes it and someone doesn't, and it's zany.
and then someone gets tortured and gets their arm amputated, but their arm grows back because they go into the healing hot spring.
Yes.
I was gonna ask, is there any story in this?
Okay,
currently?
so here's the weirdest thing. There is a neat little structured tutorial level that plays when you get into this game first.
Is it the best tutorial of all time?
It's a hell of a lot better than Mega Man X1's. So anyway.
Yeah.
So I
But
guess
that was the greatest level in human history, I was told by a very smart person.
So I guess if it's better than that, this is the new best level intro level in human history. Put that shit on the box.
Holy shit. It beats out Mega Man X and Gears of War 2.
That intro level has plot, Bob.
Okay.
It has characters talk. It has you resuscitate. I can't remember whose name is who. I believe it's Ace. As you resuscitate Ace. Nope, Ace is the 0. Okay, I don't remember the other one's name. But it has you resuscitate one of the two main characters. There's a spoken line, I believe, and then you get to the hub and there's no plot.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I assume that's just not done then, because that sounds like they have an intro.
I assume. There's so as I said, there's 6 different levels, right? Random order. Coincidentally, the first time I beat it, the last level it rolled had an almost Wily Castle theme.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is like the big final area. The next time I go, it's the first one, and I'm like, oh.
I guess that didn't mean anything.
And this time it's really easy because it's the first. Because of course, like, you know, if you have it on a set difficulty, the level you play a 6th will always be harder than the level you play first. Like it ramps up the difficulty of the boss and the level design and all those other things. So I went from, man, this level's kind of wicked. It's got these design elements that are neat and it feels like a real final area to here's baby potato mode of this exact level and you do it first. And I was like, oh, okay. So none of these are definitively the end of a run. Gotcha. But yeah, there's some neat gimmick ideas for each area. There's a... Man, I feel kind of bad saying this after I just compared another level to Freedom Planet, but Bob totally saw this too. This level's Knuckles' Chaotix theme. Even the music kind of sounds it.
I like the colors here.
Yes, it's a really good color choice. A very good choice of colors.
That's like hologram tree?
Yes. It's pretty...
like Knuckles Chaotix mixed with Cyber Peacock.
Yes. That sounds like it. I want to hear that cross up between Door into Summer and Cyber Peacock's theme. That would be the single best song ever, possibly.
When this is like done and on a console, I'll probably play this.
Yeah, no, it's really great. Honestly, like this is super swell. I currently I believe it's 10% off because it's early access. Let me check. But yeah, for $20 it seems really great. Maybe hold off till there's a little bit more content, but 6 stages for a roguelike really isn't terrible. Like I feel like let me stress, I played 6 or 7 hours of this. Steam recognized it as 22, so don't listen to Steam's number. I left the game booted. But yeah,
that'll happen.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, no, I think it's a really solid game. Oh, I didn't even notice they have a soundtrack. I should probably listen to that outside of it and then tell people what I think about that. But yeah, no, it's really great. I hope that level creator gets integrated a little bit better. I hope there's a little bit more. I don't know how many more levels to expect for the single player. But yeah, it's really fun. There's also a co-op mode. I haven't tried that at all. But yeah, looks really promising and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Can't wait to do another run. But that's... Oh no, what did we play last Friday, Bob?
Dan, we played Gex.
Gex.
No!
How did you forget again?
Because
when something is your life, you tend to forget.
Dude.
Oh, okay. Once again, it's been less than a week since you spent 20 hours playing Gex. What's up?
Every time we do this, it is 6 days away from a scarring stream, so... I've moved on with my life since then.
I was gonna say maybe not next time, but you're playing fucking Blade Kitten tomorrow, so.
Blade Kitten's legendary. I have the theme song it plays when you highlight it on the PS3 burned into my head for all of my life.
It's also gonna be in Overwatch 2.
Isn't that right, Bob?
Yeah, it's happening.
Bob's notes for Overwatch 2 Gamer Premonition said so.
It's
Can
how
I
it works,
have
I'm sorry.
cheeseburger?
Okay, so I'm gonna say my take really brief, and then Bob can talk about his take. Gex 1's a bad 2D platformer, but it's nowhere near the worst. It's better than fucking Bubsy and countless others. I'm gonna say that one is the middle. Gex 2 is the absolute worst. And Gex 3 is a surprisingly good platformer. If the whole series was that, I would understand people liking Gex. Hey, Bob, what's your take?
I think that Gex 3 is all right. Yeah. Gex 2 is less than all right. It's pretty bad.
Less than all right is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for you that you grew up with that one.
Yeah, that's what I grew up with. So I all the memories of that losing oxygen stage. Ugh. But I think I had the 64 version, so I got the Titanic. So that's something. Maybe that was better than other things we got. And then Gex 1 to me was just a nightmare. Maybe I have a specific hatred for those early Western 2D platformers. They're really rough.
That's Gex 1 feels better than almost every Amiga platformer ever made.
Well, yes, and more importantly, it feels better than like Bubsy, which is a nightmare in comparison.
It feels better than that, but it still has like a strong Amiga platformer energy where things just feel wrong and it wants you to do very strange things, and it'll have remotes right in front of you can't see.
That the graphic design is so bad that you can't see a power-up 2 inches away from your character's head.
Yes. We walked by it 5 times before noticing it.
God, that was dire.
Yes.
That was genuinely dire that you're like, it's right there. And I'm like, where? I can't see it.
And that happened in many stages because the visual design is so bad in that game.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, that's my take on Gex. KZ, do we get your take on Gex?
Just from watching it, and you can feel what the platforming feels like by watching a lot of games, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after watching videos of Bland Wonderworld, I'm like, I have a feel of what that's gonna play like, and then you play and you're like, wow, this is 1-to-1. Help. Gex 1 looks absolutely miserable. There's no part of that I would ever want to touch that. Just because it looks like bad, boring 2D platformer.
Mm-hmm.
I can find some delightfulness from shitty 3D platformer where it's like they're trying their best here.
You get
Be grateful.
You get the what was it that we saw on stream? Be grateful that it's 3D.
3D. Be grateful.
3D. Be grateful.
Yeah, Aggro just kept saying that.
Yeah.
I was like, no, he gets it. He's distilling it in one sentence.
Yeah, I genuinely think the quality just goes up each time where it's like 1, terrible, 2, bad, and then a massive jump to 3 where I'm like, the entire stream I was like, oh no, they're on 2. This is really rough. Where my memories of 3 being just this, right? It's like, visually and system-wise, yes. As being a video game, no, because Gex 3 is fun. It's a fun video game. You collect stuff. They've done everything. It's what I would expect from a 3D platformer. I was so relieved. I'm like, thank God. Not only is this something I remember being all right, that's all right, but they also don't hate it. I feel like I got a big win this time.
If the Gex series was 3 Gex 3s in a row, I would be like, man, this should have kept going on. Everyone fucked up by not doing this. But given that Gex, the titular character, is garbage, I totally get
It's
it.
delightful.
I think
That is delightful. George Jetson's colon in the anime.
He's like, where are we? George Jetson's colon? And I'm like,
the superhero one.
how the fuck
It's
did
like
that
I'm in West Side Story.
It's fine.
if they kept making them, they should have just changed out the main voice for Gex and tried to rebrand him as funny instead of incredibly not funny.
Yeah, there were no plans to do that. In the same way, there were no plans to write really any story around the villain besides he appears in the final level. All 3 games, that's how it goes.
Yeah, he's really bad. Like, he's especially bad even for, like, bad 2D platformer villain
He got
standards.
worse. He got worse with each game. The first game has an intro where he's like, ooh, and then he like sucks you in. And then the second game, they're like, you got to go stop him. Third game, it's like, I guess he kidnapped her. That's all we got.
You kidnapped this Playboy bunny. Now, after you beat every level, we're going to do a double entendre about what the power of the level was. Except for the superhero one, where she just goes, can you rescue me already? And he's like, I'm working on it. Yes, ma'am. And that's
that
it.
one they
It's
gave
like,
up because
what?
that is literal the final main level in the game.
Yep. They just fucking gave up. They're like, we're out of writing. The writing is done.
They're so out of they're so unnecessary too. As someone who played the N64 one where it's like you beat a level and the part where clip plays just doesn't happen. You just come out of the TV and it's like nothing has been lost here.
I feel like that's core to the experience of the idea of them casting a Playboy bunny as this character. Like that's why they cast that person. I saw there was, what was it? They did some promotional art where it was her topless with Gex covering her boobs.
God, they did do that.
I saw that recently, and thanks person on Twitter. Anyways,
Oh yeah, for this N64 release of Gex 3, they put him in the WWE outfit. That made me think it wasn't like a Gex game, and it was a weird wrestling game, so I never played it.
what?
Yeah, no, they just base it off the first boss.
Yeah, the boss that we killed in seconds.
Yeah, you
Oh
killed
my
it in
God.
under 10 seconds. It was really funny because then really the only boss there that gave you anything was the last one.
Yeah. Which was still terribly designed because you couldn't tell the height of his punches.
Oh god, that wasn't that
you
one.
eventually figured out that second hit you kept getting hit by. It's like, oh, that's why this is terrible.
Like,
Along with 100 coin stars where there's exactly 100 coins in the level.
yeah, that's unhinged. I'm staring at this box art for Gex, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I saw that and I was like, why'd they put a wrestling cover for a video game on this video game? Because I knew it wasn't that. I knew it wasn't a wrestling game featuring him because it has the number 3 there. But I just was really confused by that. I'm like, why is it a parody of wrestling?
Yeah, and then we played it, and that's like not even in the game.
It was
basically.
literally a part of our stream. Guys, I'm not exaggerating. Go check the VOD. It is a part of our stream for 12 seconds because I obliterated that boss.
Yeah. I said, go fight the boss, and they seemingly didn't even give it invincibility frames on hits, so you just mashed the tailspin and killed it immediately.
Is there a port of Gex to the Dreamcast? I feel like that should have happened, but I don't think it did.
Yeah, I don't think that did. Even that was too late, I guess.
That's interesting. Man, I want to see Gex on the N64. I'm probably going to look up a YouTube video, see if anyone's uploaded just footage of them playing it to see if it's meaningfully better running or better feeling, because the analog controls on these games is nightmarishly bad. It's just like,
Then you're gonna be like, oh, this fucking looks terrible. I better play it myself to see it.
Yes, that's obviously what'll happen.
can we pretend it isn't though?
Yeah, it looked the same. I got nostalgic when you were at the part with the snowboard in the first level, and you kept spinning against the enemy and nothing was working for a little bit because of how the hitbox works. I'm like, I feel this so much. I love this. What a great game.
What a great game.
I was just like, I remember this. It's like, yeah, that's just how they did it. This is great.
This is how they did it. Ergo, this is great.
Ergo, it is great, just like the donkey noises.
I'm looking at the Sega Saturn version of 1. I think you can see more.
Oh, wow.
I think because
That
it
would
has
have fucking hell.
Yeah.
Look at this footage over here, Bob. I think you have a wider field of view because it's a higher resolution.
You might have, but at the same time, it'll probably still just, because it had the worst camera in 2D games I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it would show you exactly what you didn't need to see every time.
That's true. Not everyone could figure out the Super Mario World camera system by then, which is like one of the best innovations in that game. But like, Jesus Christ, I'm thinking about the camera during that final boss where we're just losing it. Because the game's struggling and it's zooming in and out rapidly as it just shits frames.
God.
Yeah, it looks about the same. Like I'm cycling between a couple of different videos of it, and it didn't look too different.
Yeah. Well, glad Gex is done.
Thank God.
Yep, I'm glad you ended on a high point instead of every other death stream you do.
Yeah, if we play Gex 1 at the end,
I'm trying to think.
Oh, Bob would not survive.
I'm trying to think if other death streams have always ended on the worst game. How many death streams do we have where it's multiple?
not that many.
I just meant a general low point over the course where it's like a death stream was like, oh god, we're Tilda.
Oh right, like the end of the game
is
is just insane.
Yeah, like the end, like yeah. And it's like you're still dealing with the exact same game. So if you guys don't like it, later hours are just worse for you. Like Grunty Industries and fucking Pterodactyl Land and fucking Banjo. Or Dan can't grab the fucking thing in Donkey Kong 64 with Lanky's arms.
Dan's like, no, I have to put it in this weird corner.
I'm like,
otherwise it won't work.
I'm trying to do the K rule. I'm trying to do the K rule boss fight glitch one moment while I clip this barrel out of bounds.
This is fine. Bob's like, I'm not gonna wait for the platforms. I'm not gonna be patient at all. I'm just gonna jump into the abyss. I think in the supercut I should just do an edit where I just cut to it multiple times, but framed like a summoning salt video with the music.
God,
and then it just cuts to him jumping into a hole.
I was in a dark place.
Yeah,
you were. It was rough.
But yeah. Anyways, that's Gex. Glad to be fucking done with that forever.
Yeah,
neat.
Did you play anything else, Bob?
Oh yeah, I also picked up Persona 5 Strikers.
Not scrambling.
Nice. How is that?
That's very interesting. It feels a lot more like just Persona 5 2 than you might expect.
That's what I keep hearing.
That's all I've been hearing.
Yeah, that's everything I've heard.
Yeah, it's just a sequel. This is cool.
Yeah, the direct sequel, a lot of it is just straight up, okay, we're in the hideout. Let's do all the stuff you normally do in the hideout and then go to the mission area. And I'm only in a few hours in, but there's a ton of story like front loaded. Like a typical Persona game, so it makes sense.
So, Bob, answer me this. Do you think they delayed the translation of this game so people would buy Royal thinking it means anything?
I don't think the Atlas is that smart.
Also, they're definitely not smart. These were made at the same time, so this can't reference anything from Royal.
That's true.
Despite that having an entirely new ending instead of 2 months.
That's insane. It does do some weird, like, almost feels like retcons to the original game, even. I don't want to spoil anything too much, but it does feel like there's a couple things in there, like, why isn't he just telling them this? Okay.
Okay.
God. Also, the audio quality for the main character is better, so he sounds weird.
Because the power, I recorded it from my own home this time, so
it sounds good.
Like,
wait,
the main guy, like, I could not understand what he was saying for one of the lines before. Apparently, he's saying "ravaged them." Like,
yeah, ravaged them.
I kept hearing it as Rattata. Or just something else I couldn't make out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now
because
I'm just imagining
you would keep
I'm imagining
doing it.
Smash because he's the Smash announcer also.
Yeah,
Rattata.
You kept doing that move, and I remember hearing it, and I too heard Rattata, and I was just like, Rattata, Joker. That's not.
He even says it in Smash.
Yeah, it even sounds bad in Smash. It's like the same clip. Whereas this new game, he's recorded well.
That's insane. That's the opposite of which direction it should have gone during this pandemic.
Yeah, other people sound like they might have had detriments from recording from home. Like, I felt like there was too much, like, you could hear feedback from them almost. Like, it sounded like I could hear the room they were in.
I gotta tell you, I just listened to the Freedom Planet soundtrack yesterday. One of those songs has voice clips from the voice actors, and it's so bad. Oh! So my brain's just imagining that tier where it's just like character goes to say thing that isn't even that loud and it's clipping.
Oh, No,
God.
stop it.
I'm getting
No,
nauseous.
it's bad.
Also, it does have a graphics mode and a frame rate mode. It seems like it doesn't like lock the frame rate for graphics mode, so you just get a better looking image, and it still runs at 60. And it seems to just lock. I haven't been in too many battles yet, so I don't know how well it's going to lock and consistently lock.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, of course, is playing on a PlayStation quintuple because we're enlightened.
Because the PS4 turned to dust.
Yes,
it got
it
Thanos
did.
snapped.
It finally exhaled and died.
It did. It's like when you stake a vampire.
Yes. It
He undid his belt and the entire torso fell off.
it's been killing me how often I have to hear people being like, they should have delayed these consoles. They're impossible to buy. And I'm
No.
like, I had 3 chances to buy a PS5 in the last week. Every time I turn to Bob and go, we don't know anyone locally who wants one, right? I feel like such a piece of shit if I keep seeing this and doing nothing. Then later I'm going to remember, oh, right, blank wanted one. I'm a giant prick. I haven't seen graphics cards in the month of February.
yeah.
I have not seen those since the beginning of January.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I wish things would. Oh, God.
It
It could be so much worse than you console people understand.
yeah. They also have a character in here called Emma, which is like a phone app, which is basically Siri.
Okay.
And they apparently got the voice
did.
actor for Siri.
No, what?
They
Yes.
did. They actually contacted the VA for Siri,
That's
and people are
unhinged.
freaking the fuck out.
That's unhinged.
It's so weird because, it's no longer actually auto-generated, so she sounds strange.
Right, she's doing full lines instead of it being a voice code
But
made from her,
yeah.
a voice profile.
Right, it's still definitely her, though. Like, you can really hear it.
Yeah,
It's very...
when your phones start taking over, it'll sound like that.
I bet that person's career blew up the moment Siri took off.
Every parody wants me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know that I can't even confirm that that's not the voice for the Siri analog in the movie Her, where he dates his phone.
Mhm.
I'm going to look that up real quick while you continue to talk about this game.
I kind of wish the party member who is also an AI was voiced by her, but that is not the case.
Tragic.
Is that like the one with the red hair that they added?
Yes, Sophia.
Okay. Yeah, that one.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really excited to play more of it. It's neat that it's a direct sequel.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's going to have some of the shops like Ty, the nurse. It seems like she's not in the game. Weird.
Okay. Or Gunmen.
Yeah, Gunman.
I love Gunman.
What else did I play this week? Oh, right. I put on my clown shoes and bought Street Fighter V DLC.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, man. We're coming off the heels of Strive, even.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I couldn't even force myself to while Strive's beta was going on. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's
Oh yeah,
insane.
then Strive would look at you bad and then turn into a delay-based netcode.
Yeah, and then we heard Skullgirl news was gonna come out, and I was like, if they just release a Skullgirls character, I'm definitely not buying Street Fighter this week. But luckily they didn't.
Yeah, thankfully they instead announced some insane shit instead.
Yes, we'll get to that later.
Yep.
Dan's fun.
Cool.
He's got a costume where he puts on a giant mascot Dan head and wears that as he fights.
Yeah. Did
Goofy.
you do the teabag?
I didn't do it, but I've seen plenty of videos. Apparently they added that to Mika as well, where she didn't do squats.
Of course.
Weird. Wonder
Fix her
why.
face.
No, they won't never fix her face.
Of course not.
Yeah, no. No other updates to make this game more acceptable in any way. God, I honestly am just
No.
like, okay, please, just give me a version of these stages with no characters. I don't need a half frame rate people anywhere in the game.
Just let me fight. Just let me fight in training mode at all time. You already added training mode 2. It's darker now.
So yeah, that game apparently did lots of other balancing stuff that I'm not good enough at to understand. So I can't comment on that.
I laughed because I'm like, did they just fucking give Ryu like 8,000 buffs? Because you just scroll and the changes were insane, I guess, because of that new system.
Thank God. He's finally gets to be good.
Yeah, it's neat.
But yeah, that's it for what I've been playing.
KZ,
Yeah.
Just wait a minute. We got to get through this. Feel.
Yeah.
Shoot. Tell me about
Okay.
Jade Empire.
Oh no, I have to talk about Dragon Age first.
Uh-oh.
I know. I was like, fucking Feel. We're gonna find out if Feel's a good person if he skips Dragon Age or not.
Well, no, I gotta tell everybody so we can catch up, so they can be caught up for Dragon Age 4. Because I finished Dragon Age Inquisition, and I did the post game DLC called Trespasser, which sets up Dragon Age 4.
The Jurassic Park game. I remember that. Big hit.
Now, Dragon Age Inquisition's ending is dumb and bad.
I'm shocked.
First of all, after the really good, like you go to a fancy ball and you do like skullduggery and blackmail nobles and do and schmooze and do role playing things. I expected that there would be like one more scene of that in the game, but there's not. I also expected the climax of the game to be longer than 2 hours, especially considering half of it is doing walk on these tiles and make sure you don't go on the same one twice puzzles.
Oh man, that's God, that's like the final dungeon of Persona 5. Yeah, it's one of those.
So you have to stop Corypheus, the evil wizard man who is a very bad villain, and they should have just never brought him back after the DLC of Dragon Age 2. So BioWare has a real fucking problem of not bringing things up until they are about to be the crux of the plot.
Was there a marble
it's like-
laser?
Yes. That's the beginning and end of Dragon Age Inquisition.
Shut the fuck up. I'm done.
So at the start of Dragon Age Inquisition, the villain opens the breach. It's called the breach. It's a big green Marvel sky laser, and he wants to get into the Fade, which is where demons live. Because if he gets into the Fade physically, normally people just go there when they dream. He wants to get there physically so he can rip it open and get to the throne of God. He wants to become God, which is part of why I will never be able to take anybody seriously who's like, I don't like Japanese games and their wacky plots. I play BioWare games though, where where the villain looks like Ivan Ooze and wants to become God. But anyway, so you're like, okay, we have to stop him from getting this magic mirror. There's only like 2 in all of existence that still work, and we have 1. We have to keep him from getting the other mirror because he can use it as a portal to go to the dimension of mirrors and then rip open reality there, because he opens the breach at the start of the game and then you close it. That's the end of the first act, is that you close the breach. So you go and then it goes, no, he doesn't want the mirror. He wants the Well of Sorrows, which we just brought up, and it does something. It's really unclear what it does. The implication is that it gives you power somehow in a generic way. So you foil him, and you give one of your companions the power of the Well of Sorrows. You can take it for yourself, but I gave it to the returning character from Dragon Age Origins. And then you get some story stuff, and it's actually kind of funny because if you didn't play a male character in Dragon Age Origins, you don't get almost any of that important scene. Because at the end of Dragon Age Origins, you find out that whoever kills the final boss will die. Because that's how it works in the lore. Like their soul comes out. You kill the final boss, which is a big evil dragon. You kill the evil dragon. Its soul will go possess one of the orcs and become a new dragon, unless your super cool guy, which you, the protagonist in that game, are, kill it. In which case the soul will go into you and kill you, but will also be destroyed. So male characters can instead fuck this evil witch.
What?
And she's like, if you
Dan,
if you
why did
knock
you let him
if-
on this show?
I don't know.
the evil witch, whose name is Morgan, she goes, well, if you knock me up, I'll do a magic ritual so the evil soul will go into our unborn child and you will live.
What?
Which is something that only male players are going to do. And you can, if you play a female character, you can convince the other available character who is also a Grey Warden, which is what the special guys are called. You can convince him to knock her up instead, but that's such a weird choice. Most people won't do it. So the Dragon Age Inquisition is 10 years after Origins, so you meet Morrigan and her kid is there. If you did it, otherwise there's like a 30-minute story scene dealing with the child and dealing with Morrigan and dealing with Morrigan's mom that are really important and feel important that you don't get unless you made that specific choice in the first game, which seems bizarre, especially since, again, you are much less likely to pick that if you picked a female character. But that content was good, so weirdness aside, I'm going to give that a pass. So you prevented Corypheus from getting the Well of Sorrows, and it's like, how do we kill Corypheus? If we kill him, he'll transfer his soul to another one of the evil orcs and come back. And it's like, and he's immune to the thing the dragon was vulnerable to. So even if a Grey Warden kills him, that doesn't matter. Also, they literally say the range of this ability is infinite. So they literally just make up a way to stop it. It's like the writer wrote themselves into a corner. They literally go, well, he has a big dragon. It's connected to him magically somehow. So if we kill it, it disrupts that ability for some reason so he can die. So then you talk a little bit more, and then Corypheus just reopens the Marvel laser to be the climax of the game. So you go to the Marvel laser and you fight Corypheus, and it's really bad. And then you give like a one-liner, and what is supposed to be conveyed is that you use your magic hand to open a bunch of rifts inside him and jib him. Like you telefrag him, basically, with your ability. But BioWare couldn't convey that visually, so it looks like you just make green light come out of him and he hard despawns.
You got the mine launcher in Resident Evil 4. Cool.
And then the stinger for the game that sets up the DLC is Elf Bezos, that you remember from the trailer.
Yeah.
He's one of your party members named Solus. And like, he seems normal, like he's just interested in elven history and stuff when you talk to him. The stinger is Flemeth, who is voiced by Janeway from Star Trek Voyager. Don't worry, she's an evil witch dragon, so it fits.
Okay.
Yeah, that fits.
And she does a really good job. Flemeth is like one of the few funny good characters in Dragon Age. So she walks up to Solus, who is hanging around in a ruin, and they talk a little bit. And she's like, "Oh, I'm the goddess Mythal." Flemeth says that, and then they reveal that Solus is also like an ancient elven god. And then Flemeth turns into stone, and Solus absorbs her power. So then you do the DLC, which is set 2 years after the main game, and it's 1 hour of fun reunion stuff, then 2 hours of completely unrelated nonsense that's unrelated to anything. Where it's like, go through all these mirror portals, which all of a sudden there are thousands of these magic mirrors that we said there was only 2 of 2 hours ago. Go through all these mirrors and fight the horned guys called Kunari. You have to stop them from invading the continent. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It has the worst it has the worst boss I fought in a video game in years.
Cool.
Where it's like, I don't even have a name, but I'm stronger than the final boss of the game and have Dragon Ball Z moves. Also, I have 10 times as much health as I should have.
It's Lord the Shadow. Cool.
So fuck all that shit. Fuck all that shit. Your hand is getting ready to kill you because it has like the magic green energy crack in it. Basically, you have the wind scar.
No, that's the wind tunnel.
Oh yeah, the wind tunnel. You have the wind tunnel from Inuyasha, basically. Except it's mostly used to close things, and there's no evil wasps.
Well, that sounds like a win-win.
Yes.
So you find Solus, and he's like, sorry I lied to you, bro. I'll fix your hand now. And then he like disintegrates it. So now you only have one arm. He's like, sorry, I got to do this if you don't want to die. And then he's like, yeah, I was an ancient elven god. I created the veil between dimensions to seal away the other elven gods who were evil, but that ruined the elven people. So I'm sorry, but I have to kill all of humanity and every other race that aren't elves to undo it so that elves can be cool and immortal again. I feel really bad, but I'm still gonna do it.
I feel bad for you.
Look, the voice actor does a good job, and he seems like the most interesting villain they've had since Simon Templeman in 1, who was Kane. Simon Templeman was Kane, right? I think he was Kane. from Legacy of Kain?
I
Oh.
don't know.
Yes, he was. So the villain, the human villain of the first game was voiced by the same person as Kain, and he's a really good villain. And this seems like the first good villain they've had since then, in that he's a character you know, and he seems conflicted at all, and he also has a clear goal that makes sense that isn't I am evil demon man. So that's Dragon Age Inquisition. Oh, and then he walks through like a portal. And then you, like, your character shakes your fist and says, you know, I'll make you rethink this because I picked the good guy option. Because your options are I'm gonna kill you, or I'll make you see the light, friend. Those are your two options. Dragon Age is an okay franchise. 2's really bad. Inquisition is also kind of bad, but it's bad more because there's so much padding. Like, the combat doesn't feel good, and it's all Ubisoft checklist shit. I'm cautiously optimistic for Dragon Age 4, especially considering things that we'll talk about in the news section. But let's talk about Jade Empire.
Okay.
Jade Empire. Not racist.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
Glad to hear it.
Well, actually.
What?
Okay, so this takes place in a fantasy setting, like a Chinese-inspired fantasy setting.
My brain just went, a fantasy place. China.
Yeah. A Chinese-inspired fantasy setting. They hired a linguist to make, like, a fake Chinese language. Which okay, you know, I don't know if anybody ever played this, and I'll just describe it because I assume nobody else played this. Play Knights of the Old Republic, the Xbox original / PC game. Half the characters in that were voiced and spoke English. The alien characters, they had like 4 voices that did a loop of like a syntax, and that was their dialogue. And then you could understand the subtitles, obviously.
Yeah, when I spoke Spanish for a Twitter video once, someone said I sounded like one of the characters from KOTOR.
Yeah, the really memorable one is the character going "Mucha shaka paka," but then they just say that like 8 times in a row, and that'd be their dialogue.
This is
They
terrible.
do that with this fake Chinese language, like that's their money saving method. Somebody told me apparently they just had like people record 4 phrases about chickens and then loop them.
Oh.
And they explain it well, this is the second tongue. It's like the other language people in this setting speak. So some characters will just be speaking it for no reason. So we don't have to pay money for them to actually say words. They didn't have this fake language made so people could speak it.
I think it'd be funnier if they just they just speak in banjo.
Bob, that's basically what it is.
That's so bad.
This isn't Jade Empire is an action game. All combat takes place in real time.
Oh.
It is actually their best combat that BioWare has ever made in a game, not counting Mass Effect, which is basically just a shooter. It's weird. It's also super basic. The whole game has this strong we didn't get to finish this energy, which now thinking about it, basically every game BioWare has ever made that didn't have Mass Effect in the title had that feeling. Except maybe KOTOR 1. But it's like, you have a light attack, a heavy attack, and a block. Can you do other things? Well, you can switch to other styles, like your style that throws ice at people, or you can switch to the style that just turns you into a giant frog, which you get after beating a giant frog.
Okay.
This is from the weird era of BioWare where no NPC was a human. Like every character in this game, and to a lesser extent in KOTOR 1, but it was still very much there in KOTOR 1, is like every female character is a Karen and every male character is Eric Sparrow.
God. Okay, I just had to double check it. Yeah, of course. They just watched Naruto. Got it.
Databayo.
So it's like every single quest is like, solve my problem while I whine. I have a high pitched voice and empathetic.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. It's also there in KOTOR, and like it's completely gone by Mass Effect and Dragon Age. I just don't get it. The game seems neat. Some parts it's not funny bad. It seems like it's fairly competent for the period it came out in, which it came out in like 6 months before the 360. So it was still very much 6th gen.
I wonder if
And it seems pretty.
how it feels on 6th gen, like on an Xbox, how it goes.
I would imagine on an Xbox it feels better because I cannot imagine the controls that the PC port defaults to. Which, by the way, if you want to play Jade Empire, buy it on Good Old Games. The Steam version does not work anymore.
Ugh.
Great.
Apparently, you can make it work if you like hard change what the exe goes to.
Weird.
But yeah, it just does not work. Meanwhile, the Good Old Games version worked immediately. But yeah, like your camera is controlled with the triggers on the PC version.
Huh.
By the way, streaming this, I had to use window capture instead of game capture because this game is so old it predates the thing that game capture uses.
That is so good.
Yeah, it's neat. It seems pretty good for the time it came out, but it does have this weird, all of these characters are cartoonish and and the combat just seems really basic. Also not balanced all that well. Also, there's weird like polish issues where it's like you can learn techniques which are just passive buffs that boost your stats. But there's nowhere to see your total stats, like taking them into account. You can only see your raw stats and a list of buffs you have, which means you have to do mental math.
Huh.
But yeah, with that said, I only played Jade Empire a little bit. We're done with BioWare for this week.
Thank God.
How much do you think you played?
Of Jade Empire?
Yeah.
25%. Jade Empire's real short. It's like their shortest game by a lot.
Oh, weird.
So like, what was that, 4 or 5 hours?
4 hours. So I imagine it's around 15, 16 hours long.
Gotcha. Okay.
I played more Neo 2. I am deeply upset at UKZ because you did not tell me there was a character who just makes big Xehanort portals out of darkness and then walks into them.
That's the main antagonist.
I was like, who is this Shinto priest? Oh my god, that's just one of Xehanort's portals.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what if Xehanort basically didn't talk, which is part of why that's disappointing.
I'm really liking Neo 2 a lot more than I did. I think it's a combination of all the buffs it now has to input latency. You know, because I got a better TV. It's running at 120 frames a second. I'm using a DualSense. But also,
the game is blowing me while I play it.
Pretty much. But also the magic system is really fun. It's like, oh, I knocked you down and did your grapple, you know, where you do a bunch of damage and knock their ass down. I'm just going to throw down this spell that makes lightning strike you 3 times while you're trying to get up. Now you have the lightning status effect and move at 70% speed.
Yeah, I was thinking about switching to a magic build because that seems like some of those are more fun than ninja stuff.
And then I found an accessory, and the accessory is like, you gain back 20% of the damage you deal via magic. And I'm like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
So I'm using that, and I'm still using the big sword, which is fun because, you know, it's always has some sort of element on it now. Also, I didn't know the last year when I was playing it that if you completely drain an enemy's stamina with that burst counter on their big red moves, that you can do a big fancy cinematic counterattack. I didn't know that.
Oh, that saved my ass in so many of those things. Like you fight the boss that's like jumping between the trees and dive bombing you, and I just knock it on its ass. Like, oh no, please don't touch me.
Yeah, if you hit triangle right after doing it, though, you get like the demon form counter where you impale them with 1,000,000 spirit swords. And I'm like, ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's so many satisfying. Just we're gonna fuck it up.
I think I'm like 60% of the way through. I just finished like the 4th area, the area where you get to fight the duel against Nobunaga. And he's like, I'm going to do my fire cut on you. And I'm like, well, I will dodge backwards out of the range of your fire cut. And then he's like, actually, when I do the fire cut in front of me, a giant tornado of fire appears right after. So you're dead now. I managed to get behind him and see it. It's like everything explodes for 15 feet in front of him in a 270-degree cone. I'm like, oh, I guess that's why you're the badass.
Yeah, he's very cool. I like solo fights as a ninja toward the end where it's just, I can't see, I'm poisoned, I'm paralyzed, you can now just get a free crit on me, what is happening?
That does sound fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing, and I'll go through the DLC and stuff too because I own that. And the last thing I did this week was I got my PlayStation TV set up to play games. Play specifically all the PS1 games I ever wanted to play. It was pretty easy, except for the part where I fucked up and was molding for an hour and a half. Because I'm like, how do I make this work?
That's pretty cool.
How do I make this work? Because I had to install. Because I bought one of those things like you can use an SD card on your Vita, but it takes up the cartridge slot. And you have to install a special thing to use that, and you have to make sure that all your system files for your Vita are on that SD card or it'll break, and then you have to start over. And I couldn't figure out what to do, so I had to start over like 3 times.
Yep. Oof. It's fine.
Luckily I figured it out. Put everything I wanted on it. They seemed to run perfect. I didn't run into any game that didn't work. Or,
so you would say it was
100%
compatibility.
No, I would not actually.
Oh, weird.
Actually, I ran into one
that
game
must mean you're not a
work,
dipshit.
I ran into one game that wouldn't work, but it was not the PlayStation TV's fault. Ape Escape. It'd boot, but then it would go, this is a portable without 2 sticks.
Huh.
Because it's running through like the PSP functionality.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's like you don't have an analog stick, so we're gonna put this splash screen saying you can't play the game. Everything else worked though. I tried Brave Fencer Musashi. I tried Gex 3 because why not? I put Gex 3 on it. I tried Silent Bomber, which is a cool game. And I tried Mega Man Legends, and I played them, like all those work fine.
That's cool.
So I don't know. Maybe there'll be some kind of PlayStation 1 content stream that I'll do at some point of some game. At the very least, not a stream, but probably. But I have to fulfill a life's goal that I've said regularly that I was going to do for myself at some point before I die, which is fucking beat Tomba. I've tried like 3 times. I was like, this is a really confusing adventure game, but also a platformer. Why did you make this?
And he's like, they wouldn't let me make Ghosts and Goblins even weirder, so I came over here.
I'm like, it's really cool though. I want to fight the evil pigs and chain throw them into a wall or whatever. Why did you name your company Whoopee Camp?
That is a good question.
Oh God, Whoopee Camp is back.
Did they make the most recent Ghosts and Goblins?
No, oh yes, sort of.
What does sort of mean?
I'm getting lost.
They came back. Tokuro Fujiwara brought Whoopee Camp out of dormancy in 2018 to do consultant work, and he's the director of Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection.
So yeah, that checks out. They absolutely did that. Okay, that makes sense.
So that's cool.
Yeah, I someday I hope to figure out what the best option for playing PS1 games is. We have an X station.
It's probably this for a normal person.
I don't know that a normal person wants to deal with that because
but it costs less than $700.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they want to go through it. Like,
well, you can donate. You can sign up to the Patreon of that guy who's working on a PlayStation FPGA console.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, let me just link it to you right now.
Oh, okay.
I learned about this earlier today. It's called the FPGA PlayStation Project. They seem to have a decent number of
well, I mean,
contributors.
He's working on a core sort of thing to run on an FPGA. It's not like they're going to make a system that they sell per se, I don't think. But either way, that thing's running Ridge Racer 1 at this point at about 12 frames a second, which is nowhere near full speed.
Yeah, I would. I'd really like it if we could have one of those someday.
But yeah, we have a PSIO, as people know. The compatibility's all over the place. It went through Gex perfectly. Sometimes
put that in the box.
It can't. Yeah, exactly. It went through Gex perfectly. Put that shit on the box. But it couldn't make it through a number of retro roulettes. We also ordered an X Station, which is a PlayStation 1 optical disc emulator. So sometime we're going to get that installed. It's going to take months at this point just because of how the backlog these modders have. So we'll be able to check out if that's quality. I have a feeling at the end of the day, a PS1 HDMI mod plus that is really expensive and may not even be as compatible as the PlayStation TV. because not too many games have dual analog stick per se. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what games on the PS1 demand it, aside from Ape Escape. But yeah, anyway, I would love to.
You might even be able. It might even be able to use 2 sticks. It's just that splash screen
prevents
you.
Yeah, so who knows? I haven't looked into it, but that's something I'm going to look into sometime after I do a couple other retro video games related stuff for GB Tech Labs on. But it's cool that you got that up and running.
Thumbs up.
It wasn't that hard. If you just Google it, there's a site that literally gives you a direct list of the exact steps to take. The only problem is that it didn't include the SD to Vita stuff in the steps. Like there's now a thing for there's now a homebrew thing called auto plugin, which you just install that and it's like, do you want sharp scale? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Just check each one. It'll automatically install them.
Oh, that's cool.
Those are the best ones. They're just like, we know, we get.
I'm excited to put some PSP games on it too, because and then play them through the sharp scale because that looks real good.
Hell yeah, it does. We did the Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins video using sharp scale, and
I want to play Maverick Hunter X and listen to Vile be a cuck and cry at people pitying him.
Yes.
The only Mega Man game that features crying Wojak Vile.
I'm pretty sure he's just like that in 8 too.
He wasn't that bad in 8. I feel like he's not great in 8, but Jesus.
He's not just wearing the mask that's smirking over himself crying.
It's unreal. He's like a spirit animal of that. He's like the patron saint of that in that game. It's nuts.
But that's all I played.
Oh, okay. Hey, KZ, what you been playing?
Gex knocked me out so hard. I've been playing catch up all week. I have nothing new.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's about where I was.
Yeah, I did one funny gimmick stream where I was like, I'm going to spin a wheel, and whatever the wheel lands on, we're going to play.
How did that go?
So,
I was there just for Stuart Little.
Yeah, I played Stuart Little 2. I played Mary-Kate and Ashley's Girls' Night Out, which is a Game Boy Advance rhythm game horror nightmare. I played the first Legacy of Goku, where I'm like, wow, these are the worst hitboxes I've seen in any video game ever released.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I played a rare game called It's Mr. Pants.
Oh.
Yep, they made us play that.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Oh yeah, I didn't understand what was going on for most of it. I played a Madden for like 10 minutes. Trying to think of that Spy Kids 3D Game Over. They clearly couldn't afford the license for a lot of like stills from the movie at all. But surprisingly, some of the animations in that were like, wow, you put a lot of work into this. Like a robot blew up, and I'm like, this is surprisingly detailed. I think that was all the things that was in that. But that was okay. I'm gonna try and do that every now and then using the Mister. The chat, I said this is your fault, chat, and they're like, no, you made this show, and I'm like, yeah, but you're here.
How dare you?
And then someone went, yeah, there's over 250 people in here. It's our fault.
They're like, oh yeah, well, I'll just unpatron you. And you're like, oh yeah, well, you're banned from chat.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. That's it. Fucking, I love patrons. You know, like our podlords.
Oh, fuck our podlords!
Podlords.
I need some more pizzazz.
Oh no, the Podlords!
Bob, was that Conker reading that?
Yeah.
Podlord.
Yeah, the
Such a...
Now I'm a podlord.
Danny Richardson. Ely Broyles. Terrible Gecko Mask. Grace Jones. When is she gonna finally retire?
God!
Red Boys 27. And viewers like you. Thank you.
Yay.
Suzu Shiro. Emperor Zero. The longer the icon of Shibi Weaver remains, the stronger she becomes. OWO. I can't even read this. Nato.
I got this.
Yeah,
You
go
know
ahead.
what?
You go ahead.
Conquers Netorare Tailtime, aka Oi Governor, I lost me pet to a fucking gecko.
He got cocked. That's what that's saying. Gex cocked Conquer. He fucked his wife. That is the implication of this podlord. Nay, the statement.
Little late saying this, but Terrible Lizard Mess is a fantastic name, and I appreciate you, TLM. Gary Busey secured a PS5. Thank you, Base Dan. It's the best birthday present a weirdo like me could ask for.
Look at him eat that whole, what is that, meatball sub? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. I watched too much cooking YouTube last night, so I'm like, oh, obviously that's like an Italian beef sandwich.
I knew it.
Oh, okay.
Just dipped
Fucking
it in au
damage.
jus.
Like Arby's.
101 Shades of Wonderful remastered. WTF, Spider-Man.
I was afraid they just straight up cut off most of their name.
Doug Gexer.
No.
God, that's a really good.
No, it's real bad because it's good.
We kept saying throughout all of Gex and Conquer before it that it was like the Nostalgia Critic made a video game.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because we said when we did Goldmember in the commentary that it's exactly like a Channel Awesome movie.
It's just
Yeah,
all
but good.
the same tangent. W. DFW 3K. It's going up again. I can't fail twice. That's impossible.
I can't wait for part 2 next week.
Me neither. Je suis Swarface. Santi Kunai. Kristen C.
Ooh, you're energized.
A little bit. Just a little bit. I gotta make sure. Okay. I need to make these icons bigger. How you look when you haven't played Dirge of Cerberus and have no idea who Weiss the Immaculate is.
The coolest character they've ever made, and it works.
He has a shirt now.
He does. You were right.
Make a Tonberry cry, that's not gonna fly. Make a Tonberry smile, you pass the trial.
Oh, this is bad.
Oh man.
The ear is really what's killing me.
Yeah.
That's great. I don't know.
You're gonna get doinked, all right.
Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha versus Digital Devil Saga Switch Edition. Mountain Poo, presented by Mepsi Packs.
Hell yeah.
When this BTD airs, it will be my, Adam's, birthday. Happy birthday to me. I'm the best ever and most loved Discord mod. Go me.
Happy birthday, I guess.
Happy birthday. I hope you wanted to hear Field talk about BioWare for a half hour.
Hell yes.
Don't worry, it'll be over soon, and then it'll be another 6 months once we get to those Mass Effect collections come out.
Kyle Bjork.
No, keep going.
New Halo Infinite leaks. Master Chief fights the Banished with his bare fucking hands.
Let's go.
Apple Gothic, the unironic stand for all bird kind.
Caw-caw.
Zilter, the RNG gods smile upon us. Oh my god, no. I did not notice that before now. Look at the glasses.
Of course.
Oh, I can feel how greasy Randy is from here.
Zasterder's podlordship is ending till they can get a new job. Till then, Giga Boys. Good luck.
Luck be upon you.
Cross
You got-
Angelo.
Still.
Blig the Blue, Schlig the Boo. Craig Goss. I have gone back to comfort food, aka Okami. I don't know that I would call that game comfort food. I feel like any game with that long of an intro can't be considered that, but
Apparently for
Sure
them,
it can. It's
great.
like 80 hours of macaroni and cheese.
the problem with Blue Eyes White Dragons.
Oh no!
Oh no, not that art.
That guy, Gex.
Hey, it's that guy.
You know the one.
All right.
Yeah. Look at him.
Lamu. Malding Mike Z. I ain't reading it. Dan, when he sees his praise of the Mister, got Analog to restock their inventory again. I like that.
And before not buying it because he has a Mister now.
I have to buy one of the products they announced. We'll get to that in news. Cooper Tank. Thank you for switching back to the normal peaceful icon. Well done, Daniel. Here's $50 and Duke Z Nuxelent.
Thumbs up.
Zad Getzler. This is a mess. A Rat.
No.
That's a good rat.
Is that from Gex? I think that's a rat from Gex.
If so, Gex has a good rat.
It was.
Indigo Sykes. Swag Marth. And Shu Amaguchi in the sipping room. What will he do?
God.
Hit on
comes
an
the
underage
news.
girl, probably.
Oh no!
That's a good Mountain Dew.
Thank you very much to our podlords.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pod Lords.
Gonna go to my sipping room.
And if you'd like to become a Pod Lord and help Dan get his simping room,
Sipping? Wait
you can go to our
Whoa!
you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as extended armchair dev pitches. You're really going to want that in the near future. Early access to Mondo Cool and Chugging Bleach, our 2 anime review podcasts. And Cursed Content Club commentary tracks where we watch bad movies, along with Cursed Content by Committee, our user-voted Cursed Content show, which also comes with a commentary track. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast.
We got the news. Time for some news. Hey, Dan, what you got?
I gotta zoom in so that way I can read this on a 4K monitor because Google Documents has a feature,
Especially about a part
fit.
in your news.
Some very appropriately sized text that you motherfuckers are pounding in there. I guess it's just KZ.
Yeah.
The head of Amazon Luna left.
There's nothing else to talk about.
And time.
Did
Okay.
did they even launch? I know we were talking about this earlier today.
Swear they launched.
Yes, they did, because I saw someone saying like this game's already there now. Like I think No More Heroes 2's on there now.
Okay.
I think it's still technically in early access.
Yeah, it's one of those. You can buy this now.
Because we praised that part where it's like, oh, they're actually saying they're early access instead of Stadia that just released dead.
Where they
Yeah,
called
you have to request. You have to request access, and they'll be like, "Okay, we can take this many people," and then they send you, like, "Okay, now you can buy in now if you want."
God, Stadia sucks so much.
Yeah. Luna just lost their boss, and they still have more of a chance.
Right.
I know. I'm just like, oh, I don't know. It seems like they have a good head on their shoulders over there.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
No one. Yeah.
Literally, no one is better.
Yeah, fucking Stadia doesn't have shoulders.
Stadia closed down their games division, all their developers and stuff. I forgot to bring this up, or it came up in the last week. Q Games, the people who made the Pixel Junk series, are shipping a game exclusively for Stadia in like 4 days.
So depressing.
Bob was like,
Did we talk about how what is it, Creatures from the Savage Planet, or Journey to the Savage
I have that.
Planet?
I have that in my thing.
let's do that now.
okay.
Do it. Shoot.
Yeah, it's relevant.
Okay, so Journey to the Savage Planet, which was developed by Stadia guy, the guy who was like, man, fucking streamers should pay. It's broken on Stadia and can't be fixed because they fired the team, so they can't patch it.
I think it's patched now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up to confirm. One moment, but yeah.
I wouldn't. Why would I care enough to look beyond the funny headline? Like,
That's you're reading news. You should probably do that. But
well, that's
I
what
think
happened. The news came out, and then everyone made fun of it for 2 days, and then that was the end of it.
Yeah, I think it eventually got patched. Yeah, issue now fixed. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay, good. The 10 people that were playing it over there.
10. That's bold.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Somebody must have been playing it to let them know.
It's funny. You get a whole news cycle making fun of you, and you fix your shit pretty fast. Huh.
Yeah, no one's gonna remember that.
People should talk about, yeah, clearly. Did you just experience what we went through? They didn't even know it happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, no one's playing that game. But glad they fixed it on that platform no one should use. Anyways, so Analog, the company who makes these retro systems, these retro FPGA consoles that you buy, they made a post how they're sorry and they promise they won't do it again because they're going to stock up their products so you can order it. I believe they're leading with the Super NT. Later, they will stock the Mega SG, which is the Genesis, and the DAC, which allows you to use these HDMI-based consoles on an analog TV. They also said they're going to take some measures to prevent bots from buying it up and prevent sites like eBay from selling the pre-orders, which is like, oh, that's good. You should have been doing this years ago, but that's good. So they're taking steps to help that. They didn't
Character development.
They didn't talk about their upcoming products at all.
Yeah, I was like, didn't they announce 2 things like a year ago?
Yeah, they have the Duo and the Pocket. They took pre-orders for the Pocket last year, and the Duo is just floating in the ether. And they aren't going to talk about it yet. So that's all there is to that story. I'm going to buy a DAC so we can use the analog systems on the CRT.
Okay.
Science.
That makes sense.
This next bit of news is really, really dope. RetroArch, that group. They're starting a thing called the RetroArch Open Hardware Initiative, where basically they're going to set up open community standard sort of things, hardware interfaces for cartridges. So like you can buy an N64 to USB Type-C adapter so you can rip your own games, back up your saves, etc. all on the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a really simple thing, really looking promising, and this N64 cartridge is the first one they're talking about, but they're going to do more. This is just the beginning of the initiative. I'll post a picture in here, but yeah, it's very minimalist. As you can see, just a USB Type-C port and an N64 cartridge reader. And yeah, so their goal is to not only let you back up your own cartridges and saves and whatever, but also to let you run it directly off the cartridge while using one of their emulators. So that way they no longer have to simulate that aspect of it. You could use your real cartridges on it. So that's pretty cool. I know a lot of people who are interested in that sort of thing. I know one of the least cool parts of the Mr. console is that you can't use any real cartridges with it. You have to boot an image, a ROM, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think initiatives like this are really cool, and I look forward to it coming to other systems.
Mr.'s cool. My case came in this week. That is something I did. I put up my acrylic case for that.
It looked
which
cool.
Was scary. Yeah. They don't sell any for my type in America. I had to go to a UK site for it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Very
like there's a Mr. FPGA like UK site, and I picked up the blue one for that and had to figure out how there's no guide. They just sent me a pile of plastic and screws and went, fucking, you'll figure out. Thank God most of them. It's just click into the sides in the holes.
Yeah, that's
like
how a lot of
puzzle.
Mr. stuff seems to be. Just you figure it out, man.
Yeah, but once it was good, it was good because all the lights reflected in the blue case, and I'm like, this is pretty. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it looked cool as hell. I'm totally interested in getting one.
Yeah, it was only like $40, I think, across the whole thing. Got hooked up in shipping because it was shipping at the same time as the cold front that hit my area.
Oh, my Neo Geo got caught up in that coming back. I was like, yeah, it hasn't moved from Irving in days. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I believe both games
Rip.
I picked up over the last 2 weeks got caught up in that and were late.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily everything's fine for me. The Neo Geo's fine. Poor Texas. 8-bit guy channel on YouTube. I didn't think about. He is also in Texas. He is in the bad part of Texas. His house is ruined. I'm like, oh god.
Oh.
Yeah, he had like a faucet explode. So the walls are soaked to the point where some of them were 24% saturation. So you got to shave off a certain amount of the drywall and redo it and all this other shit. And I'm like, oh, what a nightmare. Moving on though. Sony's making a Twisted Metal show with writers from the Deadpool movie.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I quote.
Okay.
I took a quote from the description of the plot
Uh-huh.
because it gave me a stroke. I will now read it. The show is about a motor-mouthed outsider who's offered a chance at a better life, but only if he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. With the help of a trigger-happy car thief, he'll face savage marauders, driving vehicles of destruction and other dangers of the open road, including a deranged clown named who drives an all-too-familiar ice cream truck, whom fans of the series will know as Sweet Tooth. What is this sentence where it says named and then nothing?
Yeah, I know. Even I tripped over it silently.
They copied
weird.
and pasted it to the end of their own sentence and forgot to remove the reference to it in the article. Anyways, yeah, that doesn't sound a fucking thing like Twisted Metal, but I'll watch it because it will be hilarious.
Yeah.
It sounds like Mad Max.
Yes.
Patreon.com/GD podcast.
It sounds like there was some kind of project kicking around vaguely like Twisted Metal. They're like, make it, just do it. We can put Twisted Metal on it. Also, if it's popular enough for this, make a game.
Yeah, obviously. This feels like them being like, well, we own the IP and we don't want to greenlight a game, but we'll also keep Destruction All-Stars from looking anything like it, so...
It's popular enough it's popular enough to have a weird TV series that probably won't be successful because things based on games rarely are, but we can't make a game.
But yeah, that's that. Looking forward to watching that at some point. We got a ton of news. I guess we'll get to the Bob segment because Bob covered some of the earlier things this week in his notes a bit more.
Yeah, the stuff that happened literally a day after we did podcast last week.
Yep.
So we had the fighting game thing, which is the Japan Fighting Game Publishers Roundtable 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one where you're not allowed to say rollback.
Yeah, the one where you're not allowed to say rollback. Apparently, I watched the whole thing. I didn't know that. There's
One of the commentators said it out loud, the translator, and went, "Oh, we're not supposed to say that." Oh, well, we said it.
Oh my god. Yeah, the presentation had a lot of problems. Basically, the commentators couldn't be heard for English for the first 20 plus minutes of this event. And the whole chat just yelling at them.
Why does this need to be live?
I don't know why it needs to be live. I don't know how they got this so right the first time. It's so wrong the second time.
Mm-hmm. Like, they could record this and then still play it back live.
Yeah. Like, there's no reason they couldn't do that and just even have the English translators go in, post, and add to it. But no, they felt like they needed to actually be live for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so bad that one of the guys who was streaming it in English was just like, guys, let everyone know how much you like these events and want them to be presented better.
Yeah.
Let them know thing good, wish was better.
Because, yeah, it sounded like almost all the problems came from the weird intermediary between the host in English. And, like, they had some weird extra guy that translated for the translators that talked to them and got them in contact with the Japanese side. And it's like, this is insane. How is it this bad?
This is rough.
They apparently were watching a Zoom meeting, which isn't what was being streamed out. So they got to see some weird parts of it and didn't get to see trailers, so they didn't know when things were properly happening. So they had to watch in a separate window a Twitch stream that neither of them could sync up on because each of the English guys were in two different areas. It was a nightmare.
I'm so sorry you had to watch this.
But there were cool announcements here. This would have been a cool event if it didn't have all of that, and I basically missed all of the roundtable part and just really got to understand the announcements part. Which they showed off a new Tekken character. They did a little teaser for her, She's apparently the Prime Minister of Poland.
That teaser was so bad. It was the logos were longer.
Yes,
Yeah.
but with the siding, the what it was seated in of, it's the Prime Minister of Poland. That made it hype.
Yeah, she did go, I will handle this myself.
So yeah, I'm fine with it as a teaser because we have that information.
Yes.
We also got the final character reveal for Guilty Gear. It's going to be Ino. She has a bigger hat now, and also even
Oh
more
my god, is
Haruko
that
energy.
how you say her name?
I'm really fucking glad you wrote that down, Bob, because I'm like, yeah, she does. She has since Xr'd, where it's like her facial expressions are almost the same.
When I realized, oh wait, this is Guilty Gear. Oh, this is just stolen from FLCL. Great.
I'm very excited for her to get, like, if we get an English cast again at some point, she can say ukulele no good as she does her soup.
Supposedly we're getting that this time.
That's
I haven't
good.
heard it yet.
Ooh.
They
Probably get it for the first one, and then every revision won't have it anymore, like XR.
Well, hopefully there won't be revisions this time. That's what it sounds like.
just seasons.
Yeah.
Daisuke said they were getting it done. That was like over a year ago.
Right, and that's the weird part where you said it a year ago and we haven't heard
And we
anything
haven't
since.
heard even one voice clip.
And it comes out in 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
Very excited for Kaikesuke to have a very, very good dub voice.
They might have teased instant kills with this trailer. Like, apparently the activation looked different than normal for her big fancy move they show at the end of her trailer. So
Yeah, it looked more involved than the other ones.
hopefully that's the case, and we just didn't get to see instant kills because they're just showy things. They didn't need to be in the beta.
Yeah.
They announced Fighting EX Layer Another Dash. They only announced this for Switch, strangely. I don't know if it's coming to other stuff. It is a separate game from EX Layer, they emphasized. And apparently it's going to launch without net or rollback and going to get rollback later.
Okay.
And also
That's weird.
it sounds like they're removing that weird gem system. The Gogi system.
Gogi system.
Hey, Gogi.
And replacing it with like this, I guess you get to choose different EX moves, like EX Arrow, EX Dash, and EX Illusion. And those have similar effects is the gems, but seem like it's much more standardized and not. You have a ton of little random micro changes you can do.
The Gogi system's insane and completely not understandable from anyone just looking at it and just eyeballing that.
Yeah, no, it's honestly what made me not want to play the game.
Yeah.
It gave me a really, really strong Street Fighter Cross Tekken energy.
Yeah, that's kind of just the vibe I got from anyone engaging with it. We're like, I don't know, I'd like to play this, but that Gogi shit.
Yeah. So if they make
Yeah, that's also. I played the original demo or beta, and I'm like, oh, the system's fucking weird.
hopefully we get this version with that stripped out for the other consoles, not just the Switch.
It's easier to understand, like, it's extra special moves.
Let's see. Shizuru was announced as is another character for King of Fighters 15. Pretty cool. It's the first time she's been playable since '98. It's been a while for her.
Wow.
I'm like, who? I'm gonna have to look this up.
I think they called it like the Three Treasures team. She's like a priestess with weird figures and illusion techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah, Team Sacred
family,
Treasures.
Oh,
her family, Iori's family, and Kyo's family each have one of the sacred treasures.
Yeah, okay. I
So
know.
when the three of them are together, it's Team Sacred Treasures.
So that's neat. I'm glad that she's back in the game. I'm surprised she didn't get redesigned a little bit more. She's very traditional looking.
Yeah, I recognized her immediately once I saw her.
Even their quote about it is just, we added a little bit of color here. That's it.
Like sometimes you do it right the first time.
Right, apparently. We got new Samurai Showdown news. A launch date for the first DLC character for this new season, Cham Cham, out the 16th of March, so pretty close.
Cham Cham?
Yeah, she's a classic Samurai Showdown character. She's like
She's
giant
the
boomerang.
green-haired cat girl with a boomerang. Yeah, she's like a Tarzan-y.
Don't Google Cham Cham. That ain't gonna bring up shit. Okay.
Then they announced the third DLC character will be a crossover character with Guilty Gear. So that means the next character is Sabiki, and then it's someone else from another game.
Well, that's cool.
I'm
interested in that. It's going to be a real visual fidelity drop.
Yes, for sure.
Finally, a crossover between Guilty Gear and For Honor.
It's going to be Kai and Feel's going to be mad.
No. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think, like, who could it be that I would be mad at? And I'm like, like, if it was Testament, but he's not in Strive, that would upset me.
Yeah, that's fair. Like if it's anyone and then they're not in Strive, it'll feel like annoying. Like that's a lot. I saw a lot of people being like it'll be
like it's biking, but she won't be in Strive ever.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people on stream
Biken-
were saying.
Biken would be fine. Cliff would be fine. I think Cliff would be cool because his weapon is enormous.
He is
Yeah.
very Samurai Showdown.
He is. He's the most Samurai Showdown of any of them. They put in Potemkin and everyone's just confused.
Yes.
They should put in Sin and just keep his mechanic where he has to eat a hamburger every 40 seconds.
And then that's basically all the announcement. But they did say that like they wanted Sega involved in the next show. Like they were upset or sad that we weren't able to get Sega in for this show, but apparently it just didn't line up right. So that's pretty strong
Yeah, I get
implication that they're doing as a Virtua Fighter.
Because that trailer they put out where they're like, Virtua Fighter's coming back, and then they announced an esports thing, and then they kind of went dark.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that seems like they're probably trying to cook some over there.
It'll seem like Virtua Fighter, but then it'll be fighting Vipers.
No,
Fighting
it'll be
Vipers 2.
It'll be made in Unity, and it will be Fighters Mega Mix.
They need to get Konami in there with a bloody roar.
Look, Bob.
Yeah.
Look. Fighters
I'm
Mega
evil.
Mix is absolutely a Unity tier project.
I know.
Okay. Oh, yes, actually. I barely know about that one, but I'm like, yeah, it sounds like something you do in Unity.
You fight as a car, so yes.
Yeah, you just rig up that car to match the mocap. So you can
Oh,
do-
that's the one you play as the Daytona car?
Yes.
Okay, bring that back. Fuck
Yes.
Fighter.
Yeah, just let me fight as a few Sonic characters, a
Put
Daytona
that
car.
Guilty Gear.
Daytona car.
I want to see Potemkin do his big ass command grab on a car.
Oh my god. We also had the big Blizzard event.
Yeah,
BlizzCon.
BlizzCon Line.
Is it called that?
Yeah, BlizzCon Line.
It's terrible.
It's pretty fucking awful.
it is.
Oh.
Can I blitz through some of
Yeah,
these?
sure, go for it, Dan.
So Diablo 2 Resurrection was announced for PS5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and
Pregnant
PC. That's the worst name ever. They've cursed us all. Here's the best part. You see how I said it's coming out on Xbox One?
Yeah.
Go check that fucking part of the video. It doesn't actually say that because Xbox Series takes up so much space.
Oh my god.
I'm really excited.
Anyway, they're remastering Diablo 2 in 3D with the power of certain masters of remastering.
I'm excited to find out that the coin trick still works on Switch players.
There is auto gold pickup now.
Yeah,
You can
there's
turn it off and on.
There's auto gold pickup, and these are console players, so they can just push the stick in a direction and move that way. They don't need to click, so you won't be able to trick them.
Yes.
You're so fucking evil, though.
But yeah, it looks pretty good. We watched a video where they do. We watched most of a video where they do a behind-the-scenes talk to the people involved with a guy who runs Diablo 2 on Twitch, I believe. He was in that one, correct, Bob?
Yeah, he was a Diablo 2 speedrunner.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he apparently has like thousands of hours in Diablo 2.
It's really good watching them mention something small, some quality of life feature, and then he just lights up like a Christmas tree. They're like, yeah, we have a commonplace box for you to put items on to transfer between characters. He's like, what? I don't need a mule? No. Most items you'll be able to do this. And he's like, oh my god. But yeah, they have a lot of really good sounding innovations. I'm really looking forward to this. I hope it looks a little bit better than it did in the video when it finally ships on a PS5 at least. Because the lighting could be better, but it's not terrible. They showed off some Diablo 4. That game continues to sound way better than I expect.
Mm-hmm.
Given how Diablo 3 went, I'm not
Got
the
a bunch of
biggest
ears.
fan. Yeah, that's the thing. They showed this trailer showing off the rogue where she's collecting ears and stuff, and that trailer was weird because it looked like it looked high fidelity, like it was almost CG, but it's not, and the frame rate keeps changing throughout the trailer, and I'm like, what is this? What are you doing? Is this pre-rendered? What am I watching? And anyway, she's collecting ears, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice deep cut, and Bob's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, when you just murdered people, they gave you ears. And it was like, cool, now I have your ear, and it sells for only 1 cent.
Yeah, I didn't engage in the PvP ever.
Right?
And yet, for some reason, they're always determined to ruin the game by trying to implement it.
That's not true, Bob. It was just Diablo 3.
And now again.
At least there's a special zone in this one, but yeah, they'll probably still be like, we need to balance the moveset for PvP, and everyone ever should be like, no, you don't. But anyway, so they are bringing ear collecting back into the world in a really weird way. When they continue to talk about this game, they talk about it as an open world game. So he even knows if the environment's procedural at all anymore. But it has some really neat ideas for movement and other stuff. You can jump across gaps, climb up things, etc., etc. Certain moveset things seem really, really neat. The characters' movesets themselves seem interesting. I think this looks really, really promising. I'm definitely going to check out Diablo 4 when it comes out, but I'm going to need them to do a really dumb Barbarian trailer for me or something.
They already announced Barbarian, so I don't think they did a trailer for him.
No, they didn't. That was just it's one part of the unveiling trailer. Do you think we're getting a Paladin?
I hope. I really like having a traditional like swordsman. And it feels like we almost never get those in these. Like Torchlight didn't do one, Diablo 3 didn't do one. It'd be cool to have it back.
Yeah, I always like the Paladin archetype a lot more than I like Barbarian. But the Barbarian I can settle for. I can deal with that. But yeah, the trailer overall looked really good. Overwatch 2. They showed off some stuff. They showed people talking about it. Mm-hmm. They showed off people who have PTSD from accidentally leaking things talking about it. You mean
yes.
You mean I can talk about the map? Yes, you can talk about the map. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it was like a 35 minute like thing where they talked about like how they are approaching certain stuff, how they're trying new changes for like the PvP of abilities and stuff, like the Reinhardt stuff of he can do his fire move twice and cancel his charge, and immediately this character is amazing.
In every single thing they talked about, like, well, it might actually not make it into the game, so don't get too excited.
It's really funny because there were multiple things they were very excited to talk about. They're like, yeah, we're experimenting a lot, changing some stuff. Now all the supports have a constant heal if they aren't being damaged, but we don't know if it's going to make it into the game, so don't hold us to it. They said that like twice, and it was funnier both times.
I think part of it is also because they're like, please chill the fuck out, guys. Calm down. Don't get angry at whatever we're about to go do. It's like, don't worry. I know you design these fucking characters and what they do on a fucking swivel. They're also just talking about, like, what if we just make the main game mode not that 2 control point thing anymore because everyone complains about it.
Yeah.
Where that might just be gone and instead they'll come up with something else. And I'm like, I'd be open to that. I don't need to do that mode anymore necessarily.
Yeah, that one does come up a lot.
It's like Temple of Osiris 2 capture point. Okay, we held for 15 minutes. Oh, they broke through in the last 10 seconds. I'm gonna die. Now.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of single player mission stuff. They showed like different types cutscenes. They showed more cutscene snippets than I expected because I was expecting like one, but they're like various different cuts throughout.
Yeah, they said some weird stuff about that, like it actually would change depending on what characters you had, and I was like, so how much variation is there? You think you would just lock down who the characters are so you could tell a story?
Yeah,
and I really worry about that angle of like, is this ever going to get done if they have it to this extent?
I read it as like interactions and stuff, where they were saying stuff like the Genji and Mercy stuff. They'll like have exchanges here, but I think like there's going to be an overall like story where it's like you can see the differences, but it's still kind of the same cutscene. Or if it's like a major event or something that's like moving it forward.
Yeah, but it was couched during the cutscene part, and they're like, yeah, if you bring in this character instead of this character, then they'll have this conversation with this person. And I was like, oh, so
I bet that's real limited.
yeah, I was gonna say, I imagine you select up to 4, and there are 6 you can select from.
Yeah, that's you fucking nailed it. I'm like, it's either like 6 or 7 if it's a real big one.
Two funny things to me. Well, one funny thing I can boil down to. They're like, look at all these cutscenes for story. We're making so many story missions. There's so many hero missions. Look at all the story. And I'm like, I'm seeing how none of the bad guys are any of the playable characters in any of these.
Yeah.
There's no like, now Reaper's going to have a really cool conversation with Widowmaker.
Dan, you're asking them to write even more characters? They have to actually write what the villain's motivation is? God. It's too much, apparently.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so it seems interesting. They talked about how like the hero missions would have a little bit of variety, how different maps had different modes. So like there would be a sandstorm in the Egyptian sort of map. There would be nightfall during the London map, stuff like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
King's Row.
I don't know if it was the story stuff or it was just the PvP where they're like the King's Row like move the payload map where they're just like, yeah, sometimes this door will open on the right now and you can just go there. And I was like, is that just for the PvP? Are you just going to randomly decide to make it do a different route?
I think that was saying that was the missions you do is a multiplayer group and not like co-op mission sort of thing, not the PvP. Okay. I think that's the section that came up during.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Because I was like, that might be a game changer for me of just like, wow, that's really refreshing. I played a lot of Overwatch.
Yeah.
This stuff actually justified itself as a sequel, which the first presentation did not.
I hope that story is substantial because I'm still a little out on this is a full $60 sequel. This feels like, Mario Land 2 to Mario Bros 2 to Mario Bros 1 until I see a story that's substantial in the game, and it's not insanely short. But yeah, the production values and effort they're putting into writing these things and setting them up, because they went in detail on like, this is how we start writing them. Then we get these animatics, storyboards, and then we get these. And that was all. They're clearly going all in on the production value of it. I'm just hoping the thing isn't an hour long or some other insanely short thing.
Yeah, I hope that it has a lot of customly made areas and stuff. And it sounds like it sounded like most of the stuff that gets heavily reused stuff is the other co-op style mode.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're actually
like,
new stuff in the story mode.
Yeah, that's the stuff where they're like, we want you to, queue in every day with your friends and just knock a couple of things out. And that makes sense if you're going to reuse content. That's what you shoot for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was really funny when I think it was one of the lead technical artists or maybe one of the lead character designers. I can't remember. But he was like, yeah, I'm really into Overwatch because the competitive angle of it, but none of my friends play that type of game. So now that we have co-op stuff, I was like, mood.
And then they did this thing where they hyped up a big, like, oh man, check out all these new designs we have. And it's like, those look almost identical. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I really like the meme where they're like, here's our new design. We put a lot of lines on it.
It was really some of that like Mega Man X weird concept version from a few years ago.
Mega Man X concept art.
God.
every like comparison reminded me of Alex Jones doing the before and after for his pills where they just made him red.
It's Reinhardt.
Yeah,
he's just normal, also, and then really red and shirtless.
Except for McCree's where they just made his design worse.
I'm gonna be honest.
We gave him a cyber cape, and I'm like, why does it have to be a cyber cape? He had, like,
I like
cool
cyber
poncho.
capes.
His poncho was cool though.
It just made. Yeah, the poncho was cool, and it made him look like a dipshit dressed as a cowboy, and now he just looks like weird cyber cowboy.
Yeah, I don't know. None of the redesigns hit me strong in the least. In fact, none of them left an impression. I had nothing in my brain to tell
skins.
You. Yeah,
it's weird because they have so many things that are like, yeah, this is a skin that isn't like a themed thing. It's just another skin. It's like, here's their redesigns, which seem like
have even
more of those.
The like a much lower impact than most of the seasonal skins.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Also his beard is McCree's beard is bigger and it looks funny now.
I'll forever love McCree because the fucking voice actor Matthew Mercer played Overwatch and fucked with people.
Yeah.
He would just hit the voice button and just say his alt line, and people got confused as shit. Because it's just him doing it.
It's still really good.
Yeah.
So in the category of things the Mister has completely obliterated the value of.
Yes.
Blizzard has announced Blizzard Arcade Collection for the PS. Actually, it launched PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. $20 for the regular version, $30 for the special version. The regular version comes with The Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and Blackthorn. 3 absolutely ancient video games. $20. Okay, cool. What else does it have? It has a Museum mode. Museum. You can now go straight to the GigaBoots Discord and talk about how I say that word with art and behind the scenes stuff for each game. Okay, that's neat, I guess.
Bespocky.
Mussolini.
Mamma mia.
The special edition, so for $10 more, you get a Jim Raynor outfit for Reinhardt from Overwatch, which weren't they calling it like Reinhardt?
Yeah, it was really bad. Also, that's StarCraft. Why are you making StarCraft people buy this collection of random old Blizzard games?
Yeah,
Mark.
that's bizarre.
And a Dark Wanderer skin for Diablo 3. Babu's Dark Wanderer.
Dark Wanderer is the Diablo 2 wandering dude, the hero of the first game.
What?
Yeah. It's insane. Like, this has nothing to do with the games they're selling you.
This is just literally
Maybe they just
extortion.
finished those
Yes.
skins and went, hey, just pack them in.
That's nuts.
That seems like yeah, because like why wouldn't it be okay now Reinhardt is one of the Lost Vikings, which would be stupid but fun.
Right. Like, that'd be cool.
It'd be really confusing because the Lost Vikings.
Well, then you'd have Torbjorn be another Lost Viking.
Okay.
In the there's got to be a third, right?
I don't know who else
Well,
we
you
would turn.
just have Brigitte.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Like do a themed thing on her.
Absolutely. There we go. We nailed it. We're smarter than Blizzard.
man.
We did it.
Nailed it.
And also none of what we said comes off as extortion. Anyways, so that all runs on the Mister, and it runs better than it's going to in this collection, and it'll look sharper than it's going to in this collection. So it's a little rough to be like,
But it doesn't get you an Overwatch skin for something unrelated.
yeah, it's a real shame. Also, frankly, the number one thing that confused me was, it's a Jim Raynor outfit for Reinhardt. And I'm like, yeah, that'll be great for when I shoot my gun as Reinhardt.
Yeah, it seems really random.
I was actually really interested in it. I was like, wait, why the fuck is it Reinhardt?
Yeah, why wouldn't it just be Soldier 76?
Because Reinhardt's bulkier like Raynor is. That's it.
Yeah, it has the big power
Big guy.
armor.
Yep.
Where-
That's it.
How come this doesn't include the death and return of Superman on Super Nintendo?
I know, right? I'm not even kidding. That's what when I looked at it, I was
God
like,
damn
maybe
it.
they made the deal. Nope.
That'd be too much work.
as an Eddie.
Yes.
Cool, great. So if you recall a few weeks ago, we talked about a design director that left the initiative. Okay.
Yeah.
The quadruple A studio making the new Perfect Dark game over at Microsoft. If you go back and listen to that Big Think Dimension multiple times, I stressed that we need to entertain, and because I thought it was the case. I literally did. There were a bunch of people online who were like, look, Microsoft is just this bad to work for. That project must be doomed. They're clearly getting out because of that. I'm like, I don't know. They phrased it like it was more a personal thing, right? Like they're just getting out.
Mm-hmm. They want to be done.
Like a lot of people quit video games and, like just are out and done and whatever. And so I assumed it was that. So Drew Murray rejoined Insomniac Games as a principal designer this week.
Wonderful news. I am excited for more great Insomniac games.
Honestly, this person was involved with some pretty great Insomniac games.
Yeah.
Worked on every Ratchet game from Deadlocked until when did they get out? Was it into the
they went
Nexus?
through Cracked Your Time. Into Next might have been there too, but I know Crack in Time was. And
Okay.
they left after they finished Sunset Overdrive, it looks like.
So, that's cool. Wait, they left after Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
So what they spend, like 6 years at Microsoft?
Maybe.
6 or 7, and they didn't ship a game?
Yeah.
And then they want to go to Insomniac. They seem to make 800 games for PlayStation.
They can ship some games, and they do pretty well because they are really good.
They're apparently shipping 2 PS5 games within a year of its launch.
Excited to see the new Resistance game in 3 years.
You mean one?
God.
2022 Resistance, and I'm like, can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm gonna have to say, Gran Turismo, sit down. Resistance 4 is getting game of the year.
And then they're like, here's the Resistance collection on PS5. And then Dan goes, okay, guys, time for the Resistance 2 spoiler cast. Oh.
And then 2023, another Spider-Man game's out.
Yep.
Insomniac. They're crazy.
Yeah, they're doing great, and I'm glad they got more talent back from when they were doing some of their best work. This is good news. It paints a really grim picture of Microsoft, but it's good news, I feel, for people who like Insomniac stuff.
Right. People who like shipping games.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of games that ship that I can play and enjoy.
And are in fact real.
I don't feel
Pressing
that
buttons.
I don't feel that's a bold statement. Maybe it is. We're gonna go to Feel since KZ's News has the state of play stuff.
Okie dokie. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is switching primary developers.
Just like Dead Island 2.
So about
After
games that don't
firing
ship.
all of the writers. It's also now delayed indefinitely with no new release window. So let's recount. They hired the guy to write the first one after the very, very first writer went up the river for sex crimes. Then they fired him and his co-writer for seemingly no reason because nothing bad came out about him and all his reviews had been good. Then they fired who they replaced them with 6 months later. Then they delayed the game. Now they switched development studios. Now it's delayed even more and has no even prospective release window.
No, it's cool. It's like when you take a cross United States, a cross continental flight, and they just, they change primary propellers mid-flight.
I'm so upset because we had to see like 3 different gaming shows last year that just showed this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Xbox show showed this shit twice.
Yeah, we've been dealing with this for like 2 years now.
Yeah, I know.
This is really doomed because
Yeah.
I mean it was doomed when they fired the writer because the whole Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 1 was a janky ass buggy game with bad combat, but people liked it because the writing was really good. So firing the writer from the first one to replace with a nobody and then firing them, this was already not going to be poorly received and probably sell almost nothing.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see this again.
Yeah, it's just we're just never gonna hear about it again.
Yeah.
Hey.
Unless it's one executive's insane meddling project, and that's why they've ruined it.
They keep just sending it that same trailer to game shows. We have to keep watching.
No.
There's no way because it isn't even gonna look like that anymore. I'm sure they're starting completely over.
Guys, we're sorry. We aired the wrong trailer during that segment. That was clearly 2015's Dead Island 2 trailer we just aired
That's
on
a good
Whoops.
trailer, Dan.
It's a really good trailer, aside for the fact you watched that trailer, know that there's nothing behind the trailer. The trailer
You know
is
what's behind
all
that trailer?
ever was.
You know what's behind that trailer? Couple PS5 pre-orders.
That's what I was about to say. This is the new game that you can do that with.
That's true.
Oh shit.
Postal Redux is coming to PS4 March 5th. It's not very good.
Is it not? I haven't seen anything about Redux.
I think Postal 1 is not great because it's the one that's just like a twin stick shooter where you just kill everybody.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that was the first Postal game.
I had
the first
no idea.
Postal game is just like a twin stick shooter thing. And Postal Redux is like the HD type remaster they did of it, which looks really weird because it's like a 3D model on an entirely 2D background, so it looks like you're running on one of those remember those like children's rugs that had the roads
Yes.
and like the town on
Yes.
it? It looks like it takes place in that.
Wow.
That's rough. That's real rough. Man, the people on Postal just keep trying to do a thing, and it's like, well, maybe it should be good. Have you?
Postal 2, I think. Postal 2, I've heard good things about. Not Postal 2. Postal 4, I've heard good things about, but it's this early access thing.
Yeah, it's an early
releasing
access.
in chunks.
Yeah, it's an early access thing, so it's,
Coming from Bloomberg and reported from other places that I got the news from, because I will never ever give money to Bloomberg.
Yep.
EA has pivoted and just removed plans for Dragon Age 4 to have multiplayer, which makes sense because it only had multiplayer in the first place because Mass Effect 3's multiplayer had whales because it had like a gacha card system. So that then they put it into Dragon Age Inquisition and they were going to put it into this. A similar thing, not the exact same thing, obviously. But apparently they're just ripping that shit out. The reason is Anthem imploded and Jedi Fallen Order sold a bunch, which I guess snapped some EA executives out of their brain damage and is like, oh yeah, we can make single player games now.
crazy.
An online focused game seemed to be a money hole. This Jedi Fallen Order game sold 10 million units, while still coming out with pieces of it falling off a little bit.
Yeah.
The game was rebooted. The game was rebooted in 2017 to be more focused on multiplayer stuff. And now I guess they rebooted it again. I'm sure some parts like assets will be carried over, but if this comes out a second before like November 2022, I'm going to be like, oh, this is going to be terrible. But as of right now, I am cautiously optimistic about both Mass Effect and Dragon Age because of this next bullet. Anthem Next is canceled. Anthem is done.
Well, that's good.
It's good, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to see them just to throw the whole company in the ground trying to make it.
You know, I could see the appeal of a trap like that.
Yes.
I would like people who like BioWare to not. If BioWare's gonna fail, I'd rather they fail making things they're known for making instead of being like, yeah, BioWare, you're really good at this. You're like the world champion of checkers. If you can't beat this computer at Go, we're gonna shoot you in the head. It's like, well, that's not really fair.
That sounds like an EA move.
Yeah.
You should at least give them a chance.
Right. Like, this is the ideal. Like, I also want them to see them try and do the games they're known for and actually do them well and not just kill themselves on Anthem, but it'd be really funny.
For the first time in history, they get an appropriate dev cycle and the game isn't made in 18 months.
I'm just thrilled that like Anthem has now finally hit its perfect state. This is the pinnacle of Anthem. Now me and Bob can finally give it a chance.
Yes.
This is what I've been waiting for. We would have done the giving Anthem a chance video right after launch, but they were immediately going, no, we'll fix it. We'll fix it.
Yes, please do so people can stop asking me to play Anthem. I never will. It doesn't have a story. They said it wouldn't have a story before it came out, which is part of why it died.
How very smart.
God, how is it this bad?
BioWare will instead put those people on new games people might like Mass Effect and Dragon Age.
Cool. I can feel them probably waking up a little bit between Anthem dying and that Bloomberg report saying the leads at BioWare were basically begging EA, just let us make it single player only for Dragon Age, please.
Hopefully the next thing we hear is that they successfully begged them enough to let them use Unreal.
God.
In other BioWare news, Henry Cavill, who was Geralt in Netflix's The Witcher, teased that he might be working on a Mass Effect thing. He's like, I'm looking at this script, it's real cool. And then somebody like zoomed in on it and did zoom enhance, and there was a bunch of terms from Mass Effect on it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. I think Henry Cavill's a cool guy and a good actor, even if his Superman movies suck. I think him being Commander Shepard in a Mass Effect movie would be really funny.
I mean, they haven't made a good Star Trek movie in like so long, I have no idea. So it'd be neat to see, yeah.
Oh man, they should do a Mass Effect movie and get fucking Seth Green.
That would be great.
Yeah, he does play that character. So yeah, just get him for the movie.
It's the only thing I know about Mass Effect aside from all the bad things Phil keeps saying.
Yeah, he has glass bones and fucks a robot.
Stop it.
And
Oh.
this is okay. So I'm convinced this is fake. MK Ultra Girls, a cartoon for kids about the girls of the Mortal Kombat series being like elementary students because they're kids, and then there's like Kano is like the gym teacher. Might exist or it might be fake. There's only stills, and the reason I think it's fake, because we don't know yet. I'm gonna be convinced it's fake until we see video, and maybe even then if there's not enough of it. It looks like this cartoon YouTubers Rebel Taxis art, which people are claiming they were working on the show. So maybe that isn't enough. But it's called MK Ultra Girls. MK Ultra, as in the CIA's brainwashing program that was a plot element in the last Call of Duty.
Yeah, I want to believe this is real.
This would be like naming your cartoon War Crime Girls.
I mean, I think that there was something else that came out that was like, yeah, no, that was part of the sort of twisted humor to the show.
God. There's just like...
Please check out our new cartoon, Mortal Kombat Holocaust Girls.
How do we get out of this news? Like how do we move on from this?
Do you get to see like one of the kids get a needle shoved in their eye to give them more steroids to make them think that they're someone else?
Maybe that'll show up in one of the episodes that leak, because apparently they said 26 were finished.
Whoa.
And it's like they're just sitting on it. They're like, we don't want to release this.
Come on, man.
Which is another
Max.
So this is a really minor thing. There's a tie-in novel. There's a tie-in e-novel for Balan Wonderworld.
Oh,
it's like a prequel.
I'm willing to believe that, Square, what are you doing? They gave him like,
one
Yuji
chance.
Naka, you can make this game. And then Yuji Naka's like, okay, I'm going to make a tie-in novel. We're going to make 18 variations of every Visual Works cutscene, but I won't make a good game.
Yeah, that's how that went. The last bit of news, other than the big one I have, which I guess we'll talk about when we talk about State of Play. Scumfuck Twitch, a scumfuck company owned by scumfuck company Amazon, is rolling out scumfuck ads to say Twitch to say unions are bad because Amazon is involved in union disputes right now. They got so much heat almost immediately. They took them down today in between me putting this in the document and us recording.
Good.
Yeah.
Which was bad. It's like, you don't want to pay union dues, do you?
Oh my!
You want to spend that money on other things. I'm like,
yeah. That's a mid-roll I have no interest in seeing.
But that's my news, except for the thing we'll talk about when we talk about State of Play.
Okay. So we got a couple of things before the Sony thing. First up, Star Wars Republic Commando is coming to Switch and PS4 on April 6th. That's that like squad-based one where you play as clone troopers. I think it was on like Xbox.
Yeah, it was,
on
Xbox. It was okay. It's really funny to see that. Like, it's a very much like they cut a trailer as if it were a big current gen game, and then it has the graphics of that, and it's really funny.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Aspire really went all out on that trailer. But yeah, this got like rated a couple of weeks ago, so people were wondering why it didn't even show up at like that Nintendo Direct, and instead a fucking Zynga Star Wars game with no gameplay. But whatever, this is coming. Square announced plenty of mobile stuff today, at the same time as just killing the Kingdom Hearts mobile game after about 7 years, something like that. I think that came out in like 2014 over in Japan. But Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Dark Road, which is the current name for that exact same game, is shutting down May 30th. They're wrapping up the story for the Union Cross part, the part that you saw in a movie form at some point. They've still been doing that. That story is going to end in April. And then Dark Road's going to be converted into an offline game. This transition will make it so you can't play it at all from May to September, which means it will disappear after only being alive for like 10 months at that point. Because they kind of just grafted that onto the main mobile game.
Square does so many weird things with mobile games. Like they did that 10 different games for Final Fantasy 15.
One of them is still making a shitload of money. That We Are Under Fucking Attack, My Lord one. That one makes like $400 million a year.
Yeah, that one makes an insane amount of bank. This was clearly winding down. I think I even said it when they announced Dark Road, where it's like, this is a part of that game. You just click it from the title screen and it uses the same currency. And I'm like, yeah, this seems to be a way to like extend that, and seemingly not enough. So they're cutting it. At the very least, the Union Cross stuff was already very close to being done anyway. Like they had already been saying, it's ending soon. Like 6 months ago, they finished the storyline of the only original Disney World this entire mobile game got in the 9 years it's existed across a browser and phone, which was Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah, it got Wreck-It Ralph as a world, and the update today finished that off. Yeah, well, we'll get to see the end of that. It'll be an offline game. That's cool. They should never do this again. But the story stuff was cool. None of it was present in the 2.8 movie thing, though.
Don't worry, they're going to make another movie to cover all that.
I'm fine with that. Actual interesting things happened at all.
Or they'll just fucking they'll just make a game.
I was like,
yeah, they could. Yeah.
They'll release it as a novel.
The Final Fantasy 15 special, I see. Make that a novel.
Uh-huh.
I guess since we're at Sony now, we'll take care of the Sony outside stuff before the state of play.
Yeah, let's do that.
Hit field with that thing there first.
Oh, you want me to do my thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sony Japan Studios getting gutted. The majority of the staff's annual contracts weren't renewed. Their claims are that the studio wasn't profitable enough, which might be the most painful phrasing you could possibly do with this sort of announcement. They were profitable, just not enough.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really know what they expected because they didn't really make a lot of shit last gen. Maybe it was just really poorly managed.
Yeah, I'm gonna say with how many people they just furloughed and how many people were there that they just announced leaving to do their own companies and all that, they must have had a lot of staff working on a lot of games, none of which got anywhere near shipping. But let's go ahead and go into all the details here.
Like the producer of Bloodborne is leaving at the end of the month. Jim Ryan did an interview earlier this week where he was like, we really care about Japan and da 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 da. And I'm like, you could have just said nothing. That probably would have been better. They're saying it's a reorganization centered around Asobi, so maybe it was just really poorly structured and managed, and like now they have a center focus, and they can have them make a full retail game, maybe branch out, rebuild it. Maybe that'll happen, or maybe that's just cope.
So here's what I found out from doing some research about this. Okay, for a lot of people don't realize. I believe it was the head of Sony Santa Monica came over to run the Japan studio for the last 7 years or so, 8 or so years. If I remember the name correctly, Alan Becker. There's 2013 articles written about it if you just Google Sony Santa Monica head Japan studio. Anyway, the important thing is that person was removed at the beginning of last year, and the person put in charge was the producer on Astro Bot.
Huh.
And so when they immediately 1 year later Astro's Playroom did really well. We're going to restructure this entire studio around those guys. I'm like, okay, now I believe you. When the head of the studio is this guy. His name's French, so I'm going to fuck it up. But Nicolas Duchette? I don't know. But anyway.
Duché, I think is how it would be,
I can see why you do this when Astro's Playroom, a pack-in title, appeared in people's top 10 of the year.
Yeah, that was so much better than anything they'd released since Puppeteer. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like if you're being generous.
People barely remember Puppeteer.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you're being generous about Sony Japan, the last good game they shipped was a co-developed game called Bloodborne. The best game
so 6 years ago.
The best game they made internally was Puppeteer 8 years ago.
Yeah,
7 in a few months if you're being generous. And that's the thing. That's not a small amount of time.
Yeah.
That's a long time. It's basically a whole gen.
And it's not like they didn't ship. It's not like they shipped nothing. They shipped stuff. They shipped
they did.
things in stuff, and none of it's exceptionally good.
Do you think there's just like tons and tons of shit that wasn't good enough to enter full development just laying around?
When the Vita was alive, it worked out. So they did Soul Sacrifice Delta, they did Freedom Wars, they did things on the Vita. Then they do the Tomorrow Children with Q games, and The Last Guardian finally ships. Then it's a bunch of remastered titles, Knack 2, Shadow of the Colossus with Bluepoint, and that's it basically, in the Demon Souls remaster.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't internally fully made a game that wasn't a remaster or Knack 2 this entire gen,
so
basically.
Sad.
Yeah,
It's so sad because when their logo appears at shows, my brain always associated, this is some big thing that they got a dev to do, like a Bloodborne, like a Demon Souls thing. I don't think of thing they made.
Yeah,
Right.
they do that weird thing where it's a bunch of like outsourcing within Japan. So I wonder if they're just going to be a more refined way for Sony to deal with that and like get developers from other studios.
Yeah, there's absolutely no fucking reason they need to be co-developing this many fucking games when they have this many IPs that they specifically crafted that they're sitting on. I'm going to post the last, 9 years? 10 years. Fucking look at this. See that third column, how it says co-developed for everything but 6 games?
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, that's God. That even goes back,
and most of those 6 games are just remasters of games they already released.
Exactly. So, like, here's the thing, guys. I love Japanese IPs from Sony. A lot of them. Immensely. If you told me they were making a new, what's the name of the states? Jumping Flash.
Yeah,
I would lose it. I would burst into flames. They made a Jumping Flash reference in Astro's Playroom, and I lost it because I thought they forgot. I assumed by now they just didn't remember they made that. But like, they just keep co-developing games, and some of them are good, but the more recent stuff hasn't really been all that good or important. Like the Last Guardian VR demo, Everybody's Golf VR. That From Software VR thing, like there's so many small VR things, and then everything else seems to be like a remaster.
Yeah, I was gonna post about it. I didn't want to say it though, where I'm like, they didn't put out anything like super amazing. Like they're all remembered from things that were co-developed, and I'm like, every post I'm seeing that's really mad are just mentioning games that did not sell, and I'm like, well, if you're it's like Sony's never gonna make another cool thing like Gravity Rush 2, and I'm like, I'm sure they don't want to.
I mean, and Gravity Rush 2 probably did fine. Again, just not as fine as they wanted.
It probably got close to breaking even. But
sold 1 million. If that game needed more than 1 million to break even, they fucked up greenlighting it.
Yeah, I guess that number would be slightly higher if we included Gravity Rush 1 and 2, which are weirdly enough segregated as its own list on Wikipedia because that's, quote, Project Siren.
Weird.
I was thinking that 2 did worse than it did because I think it was like less than a year after 2 came out. They're like, we're killing the online.
Yeah.
Like the servers are just shutting down. I was like, oh God.
It felt like it was 3 months later or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like super close where I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
Because they'll let stuff sit.
Yeah. A lot of the time, though, as it turns out, Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer still works in 2021. Which is bizarre.
What's wrong?
Maybe they were just like, oh yeah, this online mode for Gravity Rush is actually really bad. We don't need to keep up the servers for it.
Maybe, I don't know. Hearing people describe it, it sounded like a fever dream.
Yes.
Yeah, it was probably just really poorly thought out.
Yeah.
Seemed that way.
Now Sony, listen to me closely.
Okay.
Mediavision still exists. They made Valkyria Chronicles 4. It's time. Have them make a new Wild Arms.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this, and GameSpot and Destructoid gave Gravity Rush 1 on the Vita a 6.5. Throw these people into the sun.
Yeah, that was really great on the Vita.
Still there?
That was a long time ago, so probably. And yeah, no, that game was stunning for a portable. I mean, that game was great, period. End of sentence. But it was unreal for a portable. Fucking 2012 or whatever, 2013.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list. Like, what's the last thing that I'm like, fuck yeah, that game?
I'll tell you. Are you ready? No one's expecting this. It's co-developed though, so it's kind of cheating. But
yeah, I mean like not co-developed.
okay, well, the last co-developed game for me that wasn't a remaster where it was like, fuck yeah. No Heroes Allowed, no puzzles either. The free-to-play No Heroes Allowed game for the Vita, that was a puzzle game.
Oh my god.
Oh god damn it, I forgot
2013.
Clap Hands did the fucking golf thing. I thought that was Sony Japan on their own.
Oh,
Never.
no.
It's Clap Hands.
Always
So,
Clap
so
Hands.
like,
Fuck
here's
no.
the thing. As we're all saying over and over, these games that people remember fondly are, by and large, co-developed. Like, the only people who should be genuinely pissed about this are Knack stands. And quite frankly, no one should listen to them. Knack 1 is so bad that it is excusable, even if Knack 2 is a great game, for them to just go, shut it down.
I guess it would have to be Gravity Rush, which was 9 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Before that, Ape Escape 3, because everything else is co-developed. Wild Arms was co-developed. I love Wild Arms, but all those were co-developed.
Bob.
Folklore was co-developed.
Bob. You know what wasn't co-developed, but man, isn't a good look?
What's that?
Trash Panic.
They did that?
That is apparently Sony Japan Studio.
That was so bad they didn't brave it to the US, Dan.
Oh my god, did they not?
I don't think we ever got a legit port. I'm pretty sure I just imported it.
That came out in the States.
Okay.
I just
Took like a year or something like that.
that game that is one of the dumbest fucking puzzle games I've ever goddamn played.
Yes.
It's like smash the trash together. What?
White Knight Chronicles, which I think has value as a game people should maybe experience. Again, co-developed, primarily developed by Level 5.
Yeah, every single one. Every single game that's really good on this list is that. And then Puppeteer.
Yeah, then
Ark the Lad, co-developed by a million different people, and now I think it came back completely unattached to Sony.
Yeah, if they just make another Astro game, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, because Astro's, spoilers for other content, is my fucking game of the year. Of course I want the studio to focus around that.
Or just make Ape Escape with all the same good movies.
Yes.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and give them credit for Echo Chrome, because even though it says developed with Game Yarose,
Yeah.
that is just an initiative at Japan Studio to get outsiders involved in game development from the sounds of it.
Okay.
Because I looked it up. I was like, who the fuck is Game Yarose? That sounds too close to Net Yarose. And it's like, yeah, that's what it is. They also did The Last Guy. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, they shipped some pretty good developed in-house stuff in the year 2008.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah, just a little while. It was not like they took a whole gen off for making anything, right?
Bob, that qualifies for 2 gens.
I know.
It's 13 years.
I think we're heading into
Yeah.
a video game crash because they got rid of this Japan studio.
That was the most
Did they
insane thing that someone said that you read. That's insane.
Yep.
No
Yeah.
fucking way.
They made Patapon 2 remastered last year. I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, doesn't this emulator have latency issues? And then I just stared at it and didn't want to find out the hard way.
That was embarrassing because they announced it like years in advance, and then it just disappeared. And then they went, "Yeah, it's out next week." Years later.
Wow, did they really?
Yeah, I remember.
Well,
it was at a PSX.
Are you sure you aren't thinking of Patapon 1 remaster?
Yeah, but then they ended it with showing like a bunch of games on the side
Huh.
of other PSP titles.
Yeah, wasn't Greg Miller like always harping about Patapon 2?
Yes, I only remember this from that trailer because I remember the sidebar appeared and he just shrieked like an insane person.
It's weird
I'm like,
that
I don't know what Patapon is, but I don't know. He likes it.
It's weird that it would take that long to ship a remaster of a PSP game when they have that emulator. How bad is that emulator when they have to try this hard?
Yeah, so maybe this restructure is a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's... What do you mean that remaster was co-developed? Yeah, I'm going to go...
Okay, we gotta go. We
Yeah,
gotta
we
start moving on.
Either way, guys, I think it's obvious everyone on this podcast leans a bit more towards Japanese developers, and even we're sitting here struggling to be like, what a
yes.
loss.
Yeah, it's like,
if Asobi was gone, of course I'd be like, these motherfuckers. But it's like, all the ones that haven't delivered on their own something good, but the one who has remains. Okay, sure.
the craziest bit of knowledge I gained from trying to do research on this, okay?
Uh-huh.
They made a PS4 Fat Princess action role-playing game?
What?
I think you need to give that a chance.
Possibly. It
I
came
think
out.
I maybe need to give that a
It
chance.
came out 5 years and 3 months ago, and I'm just like, what do you mean? They did a PS4 Fat Princess game.
That's a PlayStation All-Star.
That's true. That is.
God, that was like the most dire it's ever been for like
I don't know.
mascots for that game.
What,
Dude,
what kind of
I
cool
could-
IPs can we use for to bring back on the PS4? Fat Princess. Yeah,
Dude,
great.
Dude, no. In my head, it's someone just stuck in a room and they're like, you said we had tons of characters. Yeah. Who are we going to have? And he's like, tons. No, name them, asshole. We can get Cole, Fat Princess, Evil Cole.
No, shut up, Dan. This pisses me off because it's like we can't have the guy from Legend of Dragoon, but we'll have Fat Princess.
Yeah, Fat Princess.
So yeah, apparently.
I can't wait to play Legend of Dragoon on my PS TV and be like, oh wow, Dan and Bob were right every time they made a dismissive sound when I mentioned this game.
I just have no love for it. I think Bob has a distinct feeling about it. Apparently, this Fat Princess game has a 66 on Metacritic and a 66.67 on Game Rankings.
Great.
Incredible.
Might be a hidden gem.
Yeah, that's what that. Okay, well, we're gonna move on.
All right, hey Dan,
Yeah, what's up?
guess who fucking woke up?
Who?
Sony.
Whoa.
They're like, oh man, we messed up the number here. We meant to say $20 for Destruction All Stars when you can buy it. So they're doing that.
Okay, that's a bit
Once
much
it
for
leaves
that game. Given that.
I think from it. It's clearly like some sort of AAA effort. I'm like, $20 is like, that's a sweet spot, I think.
Yeah, if the matchmaking worked. I played this last night, KZ. This isn't speculative.
Oh no,
I'm
I
like-
was having a good time. I played it like last week, and I was getting some matches pretty quick.
Yeah, I got some matches, and then I also got not matching ever, so I had to close the game and reboot it.
Oh, that's
Well, guess what? Right now, Destruction All Stars on Twitch, 15 viewers. When I checked yesterday when this came out, because I was surprised by $20, 1.
Wow. Oh, ouch.
Yeah. Also, this game has a delay-based netcode, like really hardcore. So if there's people with bad connections, the game will just feel worse.
So the game will always feel worse.
But various
rough.
levels of worse. But yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad there's a price on it now because it was insane during that period where we just went,
what?
What happens to it after the month? Is it gone?
Right.
Now,
My final message. Goodbye.
now KZ,
Angelo, he does the gesture and fades away.
and
Yeah,
you
Phil.
hear him start to say, you hear Angelo start to say a slur before he's totally gone, but he's gone before the whole thing gets out. KZ, read your next bullet point, and I'm going to tell you what I think this means.
Days Gone, #Freaker Gang, is coming to PC in spring. What's up, Phil?
I think this fucking means we're getting Days Gone 2.
We are.
I think
what
this means they're
what
doing
came out
this-
on PC and then got a sequel from Sony.
I can't believe I'm unironically excited for Days
Because
Gone
it
2.
was Horizon and it got a sequel.
Yes.
And Days Gone's getting it to get people into the Days Gone Freakerverse.
Oh, God.
I got
So they can-
25 retweets of just posting #Freaker Gang, and I see people who don't even know me who do it, so I've won. I've won so hard about a game I don't care for.
That's cool, and I'm glad people on PC get to experience Days Gone, a game that flexes on Ubisoft open world games and not much else. But I guess it's all right and it's fun.
It'll be fun. It'll be like the transition we had for Days Gone PS4 to PS5, where they'll have to wait because the PC port will come out broken if it's like Horizons.
Yeah. I remember somebody on Twitter was just like, "Thanks for beta testing it." I'm like, "You don't know how Horizon did you? Enjoy
I
beta
think that was
testing
die.
it again." Because yeah, Horizon had some interesting problems that launch.
But this is beta Unreal. I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll be better, probably.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
Sure.
I don't know. Death Stranding worked fine, and it's also on
Yeah.
Decima.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the people working on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Some people can hit that export to PC button a lot better than other people.
That's how it works, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it's because Koji Pro's like, no, let's keep everyone liking us.
How about we make the game good? And Gorilla's just like, man, this game, maybe it isn't good. Maybe we should try harder to get this game to be good on PC. I don't even know if that landed in a state you would call good eventually. I don't know enough about the modern state of Horizon. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool that people on PC are getting becoming hashtag Freaker Gang.
Join the Freakerverse.
Luckily, Steam has a really useful thing now where you can see the proportion of negative to positive reviews by date.
Oh,
that's good. That's good.
That's good info.
I will capture and post.
Awesome. That's what I want to
Horizons see right now, so we can have that answer.
Man,
it looks like it turned out pretty well, considering. Look at that first section and look at how it evens out.
Yeah, that evens out pretty well. It becomes pretty positive after a certain point.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
All right. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
We got some exciting stuff here. First up, I guess we'll go for upgrades. We got Tony Hawk 1+2s coming to PS5, Xbox Series, March 26th, and Switch sometime later in the year. Getting a 4K. It's going to be a 4K 60, I think.
Yeah, they were saying something about that in 1080p 120.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. So like, look at how dope this looks, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
pretty exciting. And they were like $10. I'm like, okay, sure.
I imagine they'll speed up the loading.
Yeah. It mentioned load time.
That's Unreal, right?
Yes.
I think they
because even
Yeah, I think they explicitly said
right, and I think they said it's a free upgrade.
It's a free upgrade for Digital Deluxe.
I think it's a free upgrade
if you bought the
normal version, it's not a free upgrade.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's $10.
Dude, this whole thing's a nightmare.
Of course.
I think Xbox people can't even get the upgrade.
Yeah, I saw that where Xbox, if they have a disc, they can't get the upgrade. I think it's only Digital Deluxe.
Which doesn't make sense because that's the whole fucking point of smart delivery.
Yeah.
That is literally
like
the whole
delivery.
fucking point. Just fucking what?
Now the weird thing is, which I'll just wait until. Well, I'll just whatever. Crash 4 is also getting one, as we'll talk about more in the.
Talk about it now.
Yeah,
I know. Well, that's free, even though there's only a month difference between them in terms of release date.
Yep.
Well, was there a deluxe edition of Crash, or was it just all one price?
There were multiple editions, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure there were some.
They're all getting the free upgrade.
Yeah.
All of you people don't get the free upgrade in this, which is weird.
Like, well, if they don't have multiple editions, they can't trick you into spending money. And I'm like, this is Activision. They can find a way.
Yeah, I'm sure they had 5 ways for me to buy that exact same game.
But yeah, I'm really excited about Crash. I'm really excited about Tony Hawk. Of the two of them, I feel like Crash needed it more. Because it didn't run smoothly. Like, it didn't run a locked 60. It looked like a potato on my PS5, and that was disappointing. So
we were playing the PS4. I was playing, like, the Pro version of Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
And just saying, Dan, this looks insane.
Yeah.
This looks insane. It's one of those things where I'm like, we don't really need it. We don't really need an image quality upgrade on this, and the loading wasn't that egregious.
I don't know. No. I think the loading was pretty egregious in Tony Hawk.
I mean, it was egregious if you were changing areas a lot, which if you're going through and getting the stat points, you are.
Yes.
Oh, when I say egregious, I mean it's taking you 45 seconds to 55 seconds per load.
And also, it'll be nice to have your character costumes load in instead of not. As you change things.
I like seeing Mr. Potato Head Jack Black, where it just doesn't load the face.
Yep. God, I'm starting to feel it after today. Please give me a PS5 version of Kingdom Hearts 3. Please.
Nope.
Now that I've seen Square Unreal Engine games can load really fast, I really need it now.
Loading?
Yes, actually.
Dude, it's still for like a split second when you switch a Keyblade, puts a video buffering spinner up.
Yeah.
So they can load the PNG. So I'm like, come on. I'll give you the money. Just hurry up.
You don't even have to make it free. I'll give you $70 to get on this thing.
Oh yeah, I'll buy for everybody here. Gran Turismo 7 got delayed to 2022.
Here's how we found this out. It is the most insane interview I've ever read. Like, people keep talking about Jim Ryan's terrible at interviews. I'm like, no, I think he's a stern asshole that doesn't really come off as affable, and everybody hates on him for that because they're used to very likable CEOs.
They're used to cartoon characters.
Yeah. He. Let me get the exact phrasing because it is the funniest shit in the world.
You know, you made me realize exactly what he is. In a Jim Ryan interview, he's like, "Yeah, I'll hit you." That's it. That's the whole statement. It's not, "I could hit you." It's, "I will hit you."
Okay.
No mysteries.
Now, guys.
And I'm like, you know what? I like this.
Unless the press wakes the fuck up in the next 3 days while we spend editing this and it debuts on Monday, this will be the first place where you hear this, which is fucking weird and funny as hell. Okay? In this interview with GQ, they ask him, we imagine you've got a roadmap for 2021 in terms of the games you want to release. How fixed is that given the disruptions that COVID-19 has caused to development? Returnal recently got pushed back a month. And Jim Ryan replies, yeah, we're feeling pretty good about Returnal, Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, and Horizon Forbidden West. And, you know, there are two approaches to this. None of the rest of this matters, so I'm not even going to read it. The interviewer goes, that's one way of putting it. And he goes, yeah, you know, it never works at the best of times, but I think in this world, creative people are working remotely. You've just got to respect the fact that development needs to take what it needs to take to get the games right. And then the interviewer goes, so one game you didn't mention there that had been dated for 2021 is Gran Turismo 7. What's going on with that one? In text, it says, at this point, a PR representative for Sony jumped into the call promising a statement on GT7, probably in the hope that we would actually ask about some of the many new announcements. You can read that statement below. He didn't bring up the fact Jim Ryan also skipped God of War.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really funny. You know, he seems to be an expert.
This is hilarious. That is just like everyone noticed Gran Turismo, but no one remembered God of War because we all already assumed.
Yes. Yeah, they're like, fucking Cory Barlog doodled and said this year maybe.
They gave him a mic and they're like, are you sure this is going to be good enough for the trailer? He's like, I'm sure, I got this. I listened to the song a lot. And then you just put the fancy runes on the screen and there you go. We announced a game.
We did it.
Good job.
This is really funny to me. Just the layer of like, you missed a game there, and he's like, oh shit. And then they announce immediately that it's delayed because of this interview. And then there was a whole other game that no one remembered.
Well, with this interview in Europe,
yes.
that explains everything.
You think Europe doesn't like God of War?
I think Europe is super hyper focused on Gran Turismo.
That's true. They fucking love it over there. I totally forgot. But yeah, Gran Turismo 7's delayed to 2022. That's unfortunate, but I guess that's fine because Ratchet's going to be amazing. So
yeah,
and
fuck it.
Hopefully Returnal's really good.
I keep looking at that armor that you get.
So
the
good.
Commando. I had that set up as my preliminary state of play reaction image. Yeah. Which I eventually switched out because they didn't show that there.
Yep.
But God, it's so detailed.
It's really weird that they didn't show that there. But yeah, I'm really excited for Ratchet. A real shame about Gran Turismo. God of War kind of hilarious though.
I really just want Gran Turismo to launch in a pristine state.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Just you've been not giving me a good Gran Turismo for the last decade. I can handle it.
Right. What's pushing it back another 6 months to a year gonna do?
Right.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Also, I didn't want to buy a steering wheel this year anyways.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We had a small little news here below that I guess you wrote in.
Yeah, it came up in the same interview. I wanted to cover the positives of this interview before I get into that.
Oh, okay. PS5 next gen PSVR was announced.
Yes,
feature a single cord to simplify the setup.
Yeah,
cool.
I've mentioned that before to people who hang out during streams and probably on a couple big things that the whole reason there's a USB Type-C on the front of your PS5 is so that way it can drive the high resolution and the power necessary to power a VR headset, which makes it simple as hell compared to that nightmare that is the PS4. This is great. I'm glad that they formally announced it. I saw some really bad takes out there that people were like, what well, they're not shipping it soon. They're like analog. And I'm like, no, they're not.
No.
They need to announce a product to get devs interested, because literally they can't talk to devs about a thing that's not officially announced, is the case with
they
a
even
lot
said
of things.
dev kits are about to go out.
Yeah.
It's really exciting to get one cord just coming out of the front of the console because, oh god, this headset setup is just always sitting under my TV.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
It's terrible. And this thing you can actually legitimately put away. We can't put that one away because you have to hook 3 cables back up every time.
Yep.
And an AC adapter. It's really not great. This sounds amazing. Just having it be a single cable will lighten things a lot, make it a lot simpler. And they also announced here that they're going to put haptic feedback, like is in the DualSense, into the controllers. So now,
I thought it was going to be in the visor. It like pushes your eyeballs.
oh, that's true. We did cover that in other things in the other big thing last year, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I pulled up that patent and stuff, and yeah, they did talk about that where it's in the headset. But I figured it was also the wireless controllers. I could be wrong though. It could just be the headset. But yeah, so now we got finger tracking and it's one cable. So that's pretty nice. I saw a lot of people disappointed it's not wireless, but in order for it to be wireless, there would be multiple major concessions that would need to be made that would also drive up the cost of it immensely. So it's a good thing that it's not wireless.
They want this to be feasible, that someone could go into a Walmart and buy this.
Right. And it not cost $800.
Yeah, I assume they want to hit the same price point they did before because that did well for them.
Yeah, because that did really well. And one of the insane parts of this interview, they said, I'm just going to control F because it drove me insane. VR is getting a lot more traction now, but it's still a nascent market. Why make a follow-up to the first headset? And I'm just sitting here, hello, yes, you just used the word nascent. Do you know what that means? Because if you know what that means, then obviously they would want to be there when the market develops into a profitable market, you fucking moron.
Next week, Microsoft will say, we don't care about VR. Then next week, they'll say, we care about it again.
I'm really not looking forward to Microsoft making any statement about VR because that was some of the rougher stuff from this last gen. It was like 2 years or so that they're like, we're not making it. We're not interested. We're interested and we're partnering with someone. Don't ask about that. It was pretty bad. But anyway, what a hilarious interview. Lots of deets about that. However, it came out in the middle of that interview. They stated it as a positive. 87% of people with PS5s have PlayStation Plus, which is great. But then you think that means 13% of people with PS5s, which means over 650,000 players have literally no way of backing up their save files for the PS5 and PS5 games because Sony literally locks that to PlayStation Plus. The only way to back up your save is via the cloud. As someone who didn't have PlayStation Plus most of the PS4 generation, fucking fix that. That's insane. Yeah. Your console fails and now all that shit's gone. Even if they repair it, all your save files are gone forever. That sucks so bad. Just sitting here in like it's hard enough to deal with, right? Like, sure, I have PlayStation Plus now, but I could easily see myself not having money and not having PlayStation Plus. So the thought that they're just bragging, they're like, yeah, 87%. It's really great. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking awesome. You took away the ability to back up saves. A thing you've been able to do for every PlayStation ever. You took it away from the 13% of your user base because ? Hopefully they put that feature into the OS.
They just saw Star Ocean 4, thought it was ahead of its time.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Did you two know about that with fucking Star Ocean 4? They put a feature in the PS3 that literally only Star Ocean 4 was stupid enough to use, where it's like, you can't back up your save.
This was, I believe, before the cloud saves even worked.
Yes,
like existed.
PlayStation Plus didn't exist for years.
What's the point of
You could be cheating. Don't give that file to somebody else. That's cheating.
Oh, so it's like the insane reason that there was a weird list of arbitrary games that wouldn't take cloud saves on the Switch.
But see, here's the thing, Bob. You could lock it to a PlayStation Network account. So like this went an extra step further. It's like, we don't want you backing up your save. You're cheating.
death.
What a stupid game. We gotta.
You want to back up your saves? That's not very honorable.
I put an explosive in your save.
I guess all that 50 hours is gone now. Okay.
All right. Okay, well, we should get on to the state of play stuff. They talked about Returnal again. It made me really happy to see chat so interested in Returnal because we had something like 700 or 800 people watching at that point, and they were all like, "This looks cool as hell," and I'm like, "Yes, yes, it does."
I'm glad they put this good trailer in instead of that awful one they put out yesterday.
Yeah, I'm really because when they put out the bad trailer yesterday, me and Bob were like, "That should have been in the state of play." Oh no. And then they had a good one today, and we're like, "Oh, okay, it's fine."
How about one where you show enemies and cool stuff?
And cool stuff, great, awesome, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. You excited for Knockout City?
No one is.
No, because I
Okay,
can't.
well, they showed it again. Moving on.
I can't remember the name outside of staring at this document.
I need to say it here because I said it on stream. You
Okay.
play as like bigger versions of Xbox avatars.
Yes, you do.
It to me, it came off as somebody made Overwatch for poppy teens. I don't know.
God, shut up.
The one thing with that game is like, is it only one mode that's 3v3 or is the whole thing 3v3? Because please stop
I
shipping
think they
that.
mentioned other modes, but I don't remember what they were. I think there's some sort of like free-for-all mode, maybe.
I just stop shipping
They're
3
in
for
this
3 games.
world. They're in this very weird world where they go, we're going to show you this one mode and act like this game has been shown 800 times because like it's a new map. And I'm like, no one knew what this game was until last week.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I lost it during the stream when I heard them say, "Yeah, here's our new map," and I'm like, "What do you mean new? We saw this
Like, stop it.
2 weeks ago. That's
I'm going to
it."
fucking bonking you.
Anyway,
They showed off some more Solar Ash, which is the Hyperlight Drifter developers' next game. It's like 3D movement.
It looks cool. It's a neat art style it has.
Yeah.
I hope it feels good to control. Because this is their
Yeah.
first time doing 3D.
I didn't see any combat rooms, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a big W.
What are you talking about? Hyperlife Drifter's 80% combat room. Don't you want that again?
I didn't play that. I just went and I'm like, this is a cool aesthetic.
Oh,
here's
especially
the
not
thing,
since the
Casey.
combat rooms
Hyperlight-
fucking respawn.
Drifter is great, especially when they updated it for 60 frames per second.
Ooh.
You remember it was 30 at launch, Bob?
Yeah, it was rough.
I bet that made the dash 500 times without missing the timing challenge a lot easier.
Yeah, they had that in there. It felt impossible at initial launch. I think I even played the PC version. I was like, oh, I can do that here. Oh no.
Yeah.
We had something actually new show up that looked dope. Talking
Yeah.
about Sifu, which is the kung fu game where the dude keeps aging and looked raw the whole time.
Yeah, cool as hell action brawler sort of thing. It looked really good. I'd super for shit like this getting made.
Yeah, I'm really down for this.
Sorry, was that about?
It's made by the guys who did Absolved, so that's the only kind of worrying thing for me.
Oh.
Yeah, Absolver.
Huh.
That game's like a weird multiplayer online thing that's a little rough feeling. So hopefully this is single player and they can smooth out their combat.
Yeah, I would.
There's only one. I only have one complaint about this.
Uh-huh.
The sound design is too limp. You need to have more impactful sounds when I break someone's leg.
Yeah, you need to be going through at least 3 bushels of celery, like per fucking level.
Yes.
Look, just go play Yakuza 0, get to the scene early on where Kiryu smashes someone's face into a urinal. That should be your reference for all sound design for when you hit people.
Yes.
Because it sounds like a bomb went off in the dude.
He punched an explosive in his brain.
It's very honorable. We have 3 games that I think we can knock out in 30 seconds if you want.
I bet you could knock it out in 15.
Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. They showed it. They also showed it at the PS5 show before. Oddworld Soulstorms coming out April 6th. We've seen it 87 times. Deathloop. We've seen it 97 times. It's still coming out. Okay, now that we've gotten through that.
The only thing worth noting, Oddworld Soulstorms coming out April 6th, free on PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
maybe I'll actually play it. I probably won't, but I'll add it to my account.
Yeah, that's what exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's about where I'm going to end up. I feel like I'm going to do the thing I always do with Oddworld games where I go, cool, I'm going to beat this one. And then I play it for 40 minutes and go, no.
Yeah. Kenna was shown again. Kenna Bridge of Spirits. It's coming out August 24th. That got pushed a lot.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But that's cool. It still looked good.
Yeah, that looked pretty tight.
Yeah, it's cool to see that they have a lot of combat ideas. They have a Dark Souls boss.
And we got one more block of news because they just went all over the floor. Like, as soon as that state of play ended, a bunch of stuff happened. I'll hit the smaller ones first. They announced 2 Final Fantasy VII mobile games at the exact same time. Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. This is a mobile battle royale game that will have young Sephiroth in it.
Okay.
Okay,
It'll be shut down in 5
Mad at
months.
something.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
I thought it was funny. It's like this is like the secret plans, and they show like young President Shinra from the back.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
he looks
oh my-
exactly like Rufus. It's like you just made Rufus's coat black. Fuck off.
Yeah, I laughed a little bit. The actual interesting mobile thing, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. This is a mobile game single-player chapter-based thing that goes through the entire Final Fantasy VII compilation, from OG 7 to Before Crisis, Advent Children, Dirge Cerberus, Crisis Core. We'll have a Sephiroth prequel chapter. It's a command-based RPG where you like do your commands based on ATB. We'll have materia with new chapters coming out every month. That's just their.
I'm assuming there will just be a console and PC release when it's done, like what happened with Final Fantasy 15 Horrible Claw Hand Edition.
Yeah, that's what they did last time, and this looks much higher rent than Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. Yeah, this looks exciting. It's I cannot believe that when they're just like, yeah, it's got everything in it. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's very
What do you mean
strange.
you're making Advent Children an RPG? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I can't wait for the story scene where I play as that horrible child knocking the pipe loose so water sprays on the monsters.
Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel. I was like,
Yeah.
is his name Desmond? No, that's the dude from
No, they
Assassin's
pronounced
Creed.
it
What was that kid's
Denzel,
name?
which is stupid.
Yeah, Denzel.
That's some real Luke Sword bullshit
Yes,
going on.
yes, it is.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this seems like it seems like they didn't focus test this to hell like the 15 one, where they're like, we know what we want to do for this. Chibi versions when you're around traversing the map, and then it's like full scale when you're in battles, and the art style actually looks pretty good. Like they have nice character art and stuff. So that was surprising. That's coming out next year, though.
Barrett looks like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
That was a good tweet that you made.
What are you talking about? He looks like Grandpa Joestar.
A little bit. The
Actually.
yeah.
Interesting cross section we found here.
This is the holy trinity. Carl, Grandpa Joestar, and Barrett.
Oh man, that's I'm imagining the graph.
Yeah.
And it's like every old man is somewhere in this grid.
Yeah, okay, we can set that up.
Sure.
Oh, someone make that, please.
I assume Sid is just fully Carl.
Yeah. Yes. He's definitely the most Carl-like character in Final Fantasy VII.
He's like, shut up, go away, you freak. He's locked up in his rocket.
God. Drink your goddamn tea. None of this matters. Media, none of this matters.
I mean, like, if it's coming out next year, I think that's weird because we'll need to see the new designs for, like, the rest of the party members by then, I guess. Because it's it'll have to be in there.
That's true.
I wonder, how they're gonna dole that out. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll just do it like that. Like Kingdom Hearts announced like how characters look through like key art for the mobile game. So they might.
The only person left is, I guess there's Sid also.
Yeah, Sid and Vincent.
Yeah, there's Sid and Vincent.
Yeah.
Well, what if this big stupid Moogle part of Kate Sith just looks totally different now?
Possible.
Very, very, very detailed.
I hope it opens its mouth and a cannon barrel comes out now.
Oh, I want that. I wrote down the big thing in here and just spelled it wrong because I was not prepared for the title. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart, actually.
Yes, actually. Actually, it's a combination of two things. Intergrade, the meaning of it is something, relating to the fact that it's crossing over to the next thing, but also is a reference to the international versions of Final Fantasies that they made, where it's a slightly updated version of that game. This is the PS5 version.
It's even more impressive because it resonates with other subtitles we've gotten recently, like this shit piss war.
Yes.
Intergrade is such a bad name.
Yeah, they showed various upgrades like photo mode, better looking graphics. Some of the screenshots they put out, like the high quality assets, and it's like, wow, this characters look a decent bit better. Better frame rate. The loading is really good now.
Yes.
Having booted up on a PS5, they cut that shit by like 85% even on a PS5.
Yeah. Holy
that looked
crap.
acceptable.
It was like 3 seconds.
I really hope they also do some sort of menu to more easily chapter select certain parts and not be like, oh, you need to replay all of this to get to this part
I'm thinking they may do that for certain things, especially like post-game content. So this is a free upgrade. If you get the free upgrade, you will have to pay $20 to get the new Intergrade content, which is just a Yuffie-themed DLC, where you play as Yuffie. Seems to take place right in the middle of the game. You have a new party member, Sonon.
Yeah, who's completely new, not from anything.
Apparently he's a part of the other part of Avalanche.
I'm gonna give my same projection right now.
Oh no!
Okay, here we go.
No, Bob, you need
what?
Saying we need to save it for another game of premonition.
Oh my god!
For Intergrade?
No. I assume. Go ahead. He might die, or who fucking knows what. Go ahead.
Yeah, this dude.
I was like, man,
some of his lines make him seem like a corpse already.
Are we so desperate for podcasts that we need to do an Intergrade game of premonition?
No, because we've scheduled so far that Intergrade will be out.
I know. That's why I was like, we're killing a perfectly good podcast. So, Bob, what's up?
This is Zach without his memory.
I hate that you went...
I thought he was Zach as soon as I saw him. Like, that's exactly what I thought, because they didn't show the top of his head.
Right.
Like, they showed him from behind.
And then they showed him, and he's like some dude with a big stick.
That'd actually be Kino because of what happens in Crisis Core.
Yeah.
Sure.
Also, how much does Remind cost?
30.
Yeah. I just want to put a little point at that for a second.
Disney tack.
Oh yeah, Reminded has some of the best boss fights in all of video games. It's very good work.
It also costs $10 too much.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I wonder how much story content is in this.
Could you imagine if this was short? I would lose it. If it was like, here's your 2-hour thing.
I can't see that they would make, like, Yuffie, they have to fucking make her eventually, whatever. But this new guy, I can't imagine they would make a bunch of animations for him if it wasn't going to be at least a little bit.
I mean, he's Zach.
Like,
so
it's going to be in the party in the next game, I'm sure.
Yeah. So what's the matter?
Yeah, they talked. They did a full interview. They did full interviews already. What's up?
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining like. The Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 has like the B party with this guy and all the people who survived inexplicably. So half that game is just this whole different party.
Cool. Yeah, it seems like this will be somewhat sizable, and at least a little bit, because they showed a boss in this, like some big ass robot, And the interviews just straight up said, yeah, there's a different main villain for this one, like main boss.
Well, yeah,
that we'll talk about later.
You have to fight that guy. That man.
Yeah, this is the part that got me excited. Yeah, that man of Final Fantasy VII. They ended this trailer, and I'm like, they've referenced Deep Ground, but those are explicitly the Deep Ground soldier in 4K, which I was like, this is cool. And then they just showed the leader of Deep Ground, the main villain of Dirge of Cerberus, Weiss the Immaculate, a man who I have maintained for half of my life is a cool guy, because he has katanas with revolvers as the handles. And is very
That
wrong.
is very cool.
Yeah, he's intensely dumb and kind of cool, but he's stuck in like a terrible game. So it's neat for that.
Oh
but
yeah,
not
I'm
fair.
sure that
Wonderful
game
game.
is the worst.
Wonderful. They showed like cuts of him like from his original version where he's just sitting on a chair just with no shirt, and then cut to his new design, which has like an actual shirt, and he's like, let's get going. And then in the interview, they just said, yeah, this is the super boss of FF7 Remake that Nomura wanted in so bad he asked them to put it in the PS4 version. They did not have enough time.
The quote's really funny because Nomura's like, well, since we already have the strongest character, Sephiroth, in the game, we needed a different character to be the bonus boss.
They're like, why'd you pick Weiss? It's like, well, Sephiroth is the strongest, but the only person we can top is the guy who was being billed to being the ultimate super guy after that, which was this man.
And it's not yet time for Genesis's return, so it couldn't be him.
What was the ultimate boss we got? Was like a summon, wasn't it?
The ultimate thing
No,
was
it was
a
like
giant
the,
robot.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like implied to be like the prototype of the big robot you fight when you return to
Proud
Midgard
Claw.
disc near the end of the original. Like you fight Scarlet and the big dude in a
Heidegger.
Gundam, and it's Heidegger in a fucking Gundam, and it's implied that that's like the prototype of that Gundam.
Yeah, they call it the Pride and Joy prototype. That was in the gauntlet that's like fight all the summons, and then the last one is like Bahamut, and then Ifrit shows up halfway in, and I want to tear my hair out until I realized I could just put on and absorb fire materia. And then you fight the big robot. But this, being a humanoid fight, I'm like, yeah, this is dope. Also, this guy rules. I cannot believe he actually is going to be in these games, and that he just appears now. But yeah, they also said he's apparently parts of Deep Ground will appear in the story as well. And then they said, we won't tell you other Dirge of Cerberus characters that'll appear. And I'm like, I can pretend Gact will be in now, and you can't say no.
I mean, he's going to be in. That's obviously going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
It's because he works directly with this guy in Dirge of Cerberus.
This is the timeline where he doesn't exist because copyrights.
Unless they just
There's some guy wearing a
unless-
jacket. It's not him though.
Look. All they'd have to do at the end of the day is just make his face look different.
Whatever,
course-
Genesis
of course-
is cool. I'm down. That's all I've been about. He's cool. and he has
Genesis
a
is
big
cool.
red
I came
sword.
around. As long as I get to have a boss fight with him, you can do whatever you want as long as it is to the end of me having a cool boss fight.
Yeah, this package is everything I was looking for in a PS5 version. It runs better. It looks better. They added more stuff and gave me a super boss and stuff.
They showed the graphics comparison, and the bad JPEG skies are still there. They just put more bloom over it.
That was very funny.
I don't know. It looked better to me. I guess
Yeah,
we'll
it
have to
looked
see when
better
it
to
comes
me.
out.
It's still the same still image, but we'll see.
Yeah.
They didn't upload any of those in 4K, so we're still dealing with YouTube compression making them look terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at like their press site for if they put up any assets that aren't just like a poster, because sometimes they do that. Okay, they did actually put like some screenshots, but we'll see. That's coming out June 10th. I'm glad it's a free upgrade. Square's actually doing really good with that. They're not doing what I expected them to do, which was to charge full price every time something pops up. That's cool.
I genuinely in no way would have expected a free upgrade. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pay $70 and put on my clown makeup. That's like,
it turns out the only money you're paying is for new things.
What a concept.
So Activision.
I can't believe it. We had the conversation, who's going to be the asshole, and we just all said Square like 6 months ago. And they're like, no, we're good. We're good. We get it.
We get it. We're gonna want $1 from you if you live in Japan, though.
I don't know what's going on. In
I don't know. It's so insane.
Oh my god, we did all this. We didn't talk about Skullgirls. I completely forgot.
Bob.
This is bad.
Bob.
What's up?
Skullgirl.
Bob, how could
Go
you?
for it.
How did I not put that in?
I don't know. I trusted you. I trusted you, Miles.
I'm sorry. But yeah, they did a big Skullgirls announcement. I have to go look up everything right now because I didn't write it down.
There's a season pass.
Yes, there's a season pass.
Any of the stars is character 1. There are 4 characters.
Yes, 4 characters.
One of them better be Umbrella.
Yes, one of them better be Umbrella. It'll be silly if
Dan
it's not.
might win.
Look, I bought the poster. I'm doing everything I can to put vibes out there.
They're also
and then when you see Third Strike Ryu,
they're also doing an updated soundtrack with more songs in the updated digital compendium. You get all this when you get the season pass. So they're adding all of the character sprites and stuff to that digital compendium. Sounds really great.
Oh no, I'm buying the thing I got as a backer again. No.
Oh no. They did an update already for the Steam version where now that's just the second Encore edition comes with everything. So just by owning any version of Skullgirls, you have everything that's currently out.
Oh.
And you can buy the expansions, which apparently for Annie, they're going to do a thing where she's early access in March for Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So they can try and make sure everything's working okay.
Yeah.
And then they want to get her into like consoles and stuff by May.
Cool.
So that's cool. It's $30 for the Annie release sale. So it's going to go up to $35 after that for the season pass.
Okay. Cool.
And then you can buy them separately each for $10 a piece if you want to do that.
I will be buying a season pass. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'm glad there's at least still good news about Skullgirls.
Yes, and they're doing more colors for different characters too. That's neat.
There's one more piece of news we forgot. Because I didn't write it down. System Shock Remake's coming in late summer. They put out a demo today.
Oh, I actually missed that entirely.
That's the Night Dive remake. I also saw on Twitter like their voice director saying I went through and we finished up all the VA for the game. So looks like that's coming together. It's gonna be like $45 for the full game. People who pre-order
Night Dive
get
was
System
doing it. Okay.
Yeah, players who pre-order the revamped System Shock will get System Shock 2 Enhanced Edition for free when it's available.
Cool.
Yeah.
I hope this is good because I remember there being some kind of problem after a while. This has been in development for like 5 years, and I remember maybe 2 years ago, the Night Dive was like, yeah, the project creeped to an enormous scope that basically wasn't a remake of System Shock anymore. So we are scaling it back and delaying the game by a lot so we can like scale it back and actually make the thing that people want from us.
Their teaser looks good. Like I'm looking at it, it looks pretty all right.
All I've seen is the Fabino picture about it, so I don't know.
God, I don't know. It's a demo, Bob. You should go play it and report back.
You're right, KZ.
You are our demo guy.
So that's all the news. I guess we need to talk about what we're doing.
Yep.
The day after this goes up, we're going to have an episode of Analog Gaming for Einhander, the PS1 shmup made by Square, going up. It looks fucking tight.
Yeah.
God. I listen to that soundtrack like every couple of months.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh man, that game has such a good tone to it and amazing graphics, and it runs surprisingly well. And yeah, what an awesome fucking game.
Did you get to the fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 boss?
Oh, we did not. Wait, actually,
like
don't.
Dumbass saucer.
I don't think so. I don't think we did.
Yeah. That dude's dope.
Wednesday, of course, we have We Share Your Dreams. Thursday, we have Give It Games a Chance Anthem.
Holy shit.
And I haven't announced what next Friday's stream is, but the Friday before this was Blade Kitten. That was something.
Whew.
Hey, KZ,
Front row.
what do you have going on in the next week?
This week, I don't know by the time this comes out, but I'm making a concerted effort to put supercuts for Gex games up on the channel.
Ooh.
We did a 20-hour stream, and you did good at getting the VODs up. I'll make one for each game, and I'm not gonna slam them together. We'll see what we can pull out of that. But when this comes out, a week from the time this comes out, I'm starting the Kingdom Hearts marathon. It's gonna hit me in the throat. So I'm spending a week prepping other things that I need to do before we go into that. And it's going well.
Prepping for that, or maybe just watching Summoning Assault videos.
There was no way that KZ was going to get the video ready on time. At least that's what everyone thought.
As it turns out, the video was already ready. I just miscounted. Or I time traveled. Also, that's a good Summoning Salt video, so I don't know what the problem here is. I needed to learn about the fucking ultra shortcut revolution.
Yeah, ultra shortcuts are fucking important, man.
They are. But yeah, I'm doing the prep for that, and then that'll start, and then we'll get to it. I'm very excited. Maybe Dan won't get horribly sick during it.
We'll
That'd
see.
Be pretty swell. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to more car Dan.
My car explodes. People are like, KZ,
I'm no longer looking forward to car Dan.
KZ, we're gonna have to ask you to stop fucking doing these marathons.
Oh, God damn it. Phil, what are you doing?
I'm going to be playing more Jade Empire. My birthday's on Tuesday, so maybe I'll stream something special to me on Tuesday. Or maybe I won't, because I'm going to reward myself on my birthday with more work.
Yeah, a little weird.
No.
Unhealthy.
No, don't do that.
You'll notice sometimes we do that and other times we don't, depending on the year. Right?
It'll be a
depending on
roll
the
of the
mental
dice
state.
based on how I feel when I wake up that day.
On Tuesday, feels like I decided to reward myself. You can now super follow me on Twitter.
I decided to reward myself. I'm going to play Postal 2.
Get myself banned from Twitch.
Woo.
Oh, that reminds me,
Twitch.
Persona 5 Strikers. Somebody uses the word simp, and I was just like, oh, they're going to get banned from Twitch.
I am looking at at Twitch's banned games right now.
We need to know now.
Not on there.
Persona 5 Strikers.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Persona 5 Strikers.
Just give.
Yeah,
Just give.
I don't see any game that doesn't make sense. Ethnic cleansing, yeah, I'd see why that wouldn't be allowed on there. Suck my dick or die, yeah, that makes sense.
What?
Radiator 2, I don't
want to
really
know why it
a
belongs
game with
to the
that.
list. Yeah, no, that's okay. We don't need to figure that one out.
What's under your blanket? ! And the maiden rape assault, violent semen inferno.
Now,
Good night, everybody.
now that's weird. Why is that one?
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Big Think Dimension. If you would like to support the GB Podcast Network, head on over to patreon.com/GB Podcast, so that way you can get exclusive behind the scenes on stuff, other content. There's a lot of content. It's basically non-ending avalanche of content. So head on over there, become a $5 backer or a Podlord today.